Chapter 26. Quirrell looked stiff. Of course I'm familiar with it. If you have any questions, just ask. Crow's lips raised slightly. But his face pretended to be full of curiosity. I read in a book that the Dark Lord has gone through 2 generations, the most recent one just 10 years ago. I heard that the Dark Lord led the Death Eaters on a mass-killing spree. The banner seemed to be, pure blood supremacy? That's why he gathered a large number of Death Eaters. Crow's words made everyone look stiff. The excitement of seeing Harry Potter before was completely gone. Quirrell couldn't laugh either. With a cold face, he unconsciously touched the wand in his sleeve. He is ready. Once Crow really knows his secret, then he would immediately take action against Harry Potter. Kill Harry Potter. Harry Potter. But I read in a certain book that that person seemed to be a muggle. Crow stared with doubtful eyes. If that person is really muggle-born, then he should be half-blood, right? Why do you say above pure blood? So is that person pure blood or mixed blood? Crow waved his hand very understandingly. His words made everyone look even more embarrassed. The embarrassment was mixed with a little fear. Damn brat, kill him. Then he was cut into pieces. Quirrell. Kill him quickly. Voldemort roared angrily. Quirrell's hand holding the staff with a blue face trembled slightly. But he still dared not take action against Crow. Strong anger detected. Get reward, King's treasure box. Strong resentment detected. Get reward, Diamond treasure box. Detected. A series of system prompts sounded. Crow, who had already led Hermione to Hagrid's side, was stunned. Then there was indescribable excitement. King's treasure chest. This is the most advanced treasure chest. It's true that I have no nose. Even Quirrell contributed a diamond treasure chest to him. Everyone else also contributed bits and pieces of bronze and silver. Occasionally there are gold treasure chests contributed by Hagrid. At this moment, he already owns 34 bronze treasure chests, 8 silver treasure chests, 6 golden treasure chests, a diamond treasure chest, and a king's treasure chest. Coming here today to wait for Harry Potter is indeed the most correct choice. There are many wizards gathered in the leaky cauldron. Quirrell didn't dare to attack him at all. He could even imagine it. There's nothing left to yell at Quirrell. Crow's mouth was almost crooked in laughter. Quirrell's expression on the other side was extremely gloomy. Give Crow and Harry Potter a deep look. Quirrell turned and left silently. Everyone in the bar was in shock. Completely ignored Quirrell's departure. Only Harry Potter clutched the stinging scar on his forehead. He frowned and stared at Quirrell's leaving figure. He always felt something was wrong with Quirrell. But he couldn't tell. Oh, what a pity. It seems that my question can only be found in books. I didn't expect Professor Quirrell to be unwilling to answer. Well, he may have something urgent to deal with. Hermione, let's go buy books. I'm very curious about the question just now. Crow smiled and shook his head, leading a confused Hermione towards the narrow corridor. Quirrell is gone. Oh no. All gone without a nose. Why is he still here brushing all this bronze and silver? Might as well go to Diagon Alley. Maybe you can meet other famous people. Such as Luna, Cassandra, Fleur. These are the appointed members of the treasure chest farming group. As for Harry Potter. Crow looked at him with an incomprehensible expression. Harry Potter and Hagrid followed behind. Don't know what Harry Potter women's clothing looks like? Will Snape go crazy with joy? It is necessary to give it a try. Please wait a moment. Hello, my name is Harry Potter, and this is Hagrid, also a professor at Hogwarts. Harry Potter timidly called Crow and Hermione. See them stop. He hurriedly ran forward to introduce the two of them. Hagrid watched this scene with a smile on his face. Little Harry needs a friend, doesn't he? Although Crow wonders about that kind of question. But wouldn't it be better to be Harry's friend? A savior who defeated Voldemort. A child who had no fear of Voldemort. Maybe they will become very good friends. Certainly. If he knew Crow's plan. I would never think so. Crow held Hermione's little hand. He looked at the somewhat reserved Harry Potter with a smile. Crow Wells, this is Hermione Granger. Why did Mr. Potter stop us? Why did that group of people welcome you so much just now? Do you have any special status? Hermione blinked her big, bright eyes. She wasn't curious about the question Crow asked earlier. Instead, I was more curious about Harry Potter's identity. It's not a secret though. It's in the book. But she hasn't had time to read yet. He was dragged to Diagon Alley by Crow. Chapter 27. I don't know, they all say I'm a lucky boy. I called you because, Harry Potter hesitated to speak. He had countless questions to ask. But I don't know how to speak. He could only look at Hagrid with pleading eyes. But Hagrid is looking for the brick that will open the door. Harry Potter's plea for help was not noticed at all. Harry Potter, who failed to seek help, could only rub the corners of his clothes nervously. Harry, you have to remember that when you come to Diagon Alley again, count 3 bricks upward from this trash can, count 2 bricks sideways, and then tap it with your wand. As he spoke, Hagrid tapped his umbrella a few times. The bricks on the wall are automatically recycled to both sides. In Harry Potter's shocked eyes, a doorway appears in the wall. On the other side of the doorway is a busy street. Mr. Potter, Professor Hagrid, we have to leave first. It's an honor to see you here. Mr. Potter. Harry, it's nice to meet you. We will be classmates from now on. Crow finished greeting Hermione. He turned around and left without any hesitation. Although he has shocked the entire Hogwarts. Even the big plan of the entire magical world. But this matter cannot be rushed. You have to look for a time when Hagrid is not around first. Give Harry Potter a hint. For example, there is a pervert in the academy who is very interested in you. Very sexual interest in your Harry's anus. You have to pay attention. Watching the 2 people leaving. Friends? Hagrid, you are right, I can indeed make friends here. Harry Potter shared it with Hagrid with some excitement. You will make more friends in the future, this is just the beginning, Harry, this is just the beginning. Hagrid squatted down. Looking at Harry Potter very seriously. Before that, let's go to Gringotts first, pick up some things there, and then buy school supplies. Harry Potter followed Hagrid silently. But in her mind, she was thinking about Crow. Hermione had Quirrell. The first 2 are his friends. The latter gave him a strange feeling. Harry Potter, who pondered to no avail for a while, shook his head. Follow Hagrid into the unique Gringotts. Flourish and blot books. Hermione absent-mindedly picked at her book. From time to time, he peeked at Crow who was distracted with a book. You asked Professor Quirrell to step down before? Why do I feel you are hostile to him? Did he do something? Hermione couldn't help but wonder. He seemed to ask accidentally. But the continuous questions showed the curiosity in her heart. Crow heard questions. Consciousness withdraws from the system space. He turned to look at Hermione who was peeking at him with bright eyes. Seeing him, Hermione quickly turned her attention back to the book. The embarrassment of being caught peeking at the bag also appeared on his face. Strong embarrassment detected. Get reward, silver treasure chest. System sounds are heard. Crow shook his head in amusement. I have no ill intentions towards Professor Quirrell. On the contrary, I wish I could see him every day. After all, he is a professor at the college. He can help us answer some questions, can't he? Crow threw the book in his hand into the basket aside. The purpose of his coming to Diagon Alley this time. One is to meet Harry Potter. See what treasure chests the protagonist can bring to himself. As for why I concluded that Harry Potter would come today. All because of Quirrell. He was clearly here waiting for Harry Potter. So he concluded. Harry Potter enters Diagon Alley in these 2 days. The second is because of Quirrell. Or rather, no knows. After all, he is as famous as Dumbledore. Voldemort is also easier to break defenses than Dumbledore. The truth was just as he expected. Just one question. Since he has no nose, he contributed the king's treasure box to him. The third reason is because I want to buy books. Otherwise, all kinds of talents are empty. But there is no relevant knowledge at all. Isn't it just wasted? Are you really not hostile to him? Am I feeling wrong? Hermione frowned. Don't think so much, hurry up and see if there are any other books you like, and let's buy them back together. The admission date is September 1st, which is still more than half a month away. Do you want to waste it in vain? Crow picked up a copy of Elementary Transfiguration Theory and threw it into the basket. Hermione didn't ask further questions after hearing this. Then he happily picked up a book. I haven't had any playmates for a long time. Let her just read books to pass the time. Gradually, passing time became a hobby. Now I have the opportunity to read books about the wizarding world. Naturally she was extremely excited. Intense excitement detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. Crow paused while holding the book. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but raise. She is truly a treasure girl. He also contributed a gold treasure chest to him. Now he has 34 bronze treasure chests. 9 silver treasure chests. 7 golden treasure chests. A diamond treasure chest. A king's treasure chest. If synthesized, he has 2 diamond treasure chests. Crow's eyes flashed. My heart is full of expectations. I wonder what can be found in the treasure chest this time? Especially the king's chest. This came from Voldemort. He has a lot of good things in him. What's more, it's something that comes from the king's treasure chest. Chapter 27. I don't know, they all say I'm a lucky boy. I called you because, Harry Potter hesitated to speak. He had countless questions to ask. But I don't know how to speak. He could only look at Hagrid with pleading eyes. But Hagrid is looking for the brick that will open the door. Harry Potter's plea for help was not noticed at all. Harry Potter, who failed to seek help, could only rub the corners of his clothes nervously. Harry, you have to remember that when you come to Diagon Alley again, count 3 bricks upward from this trash can, count 2 bricks sideways, and then tap it with your wand. As he spoke, Hagrid tapped his umbrella a few times. The bricks on the wall are automatically recycled to both sides. In Harry Potter's shocked eyes, a doorway appears in the wall. On the other side of the doorway is a busy street. Mr. Potter, Professor Hagrid, we have to leave first. It's an honor to see you here. Mr. Potter. Harry, it's nice to meet you. We will be classmates from now on. Crow finished greeting Hermione. He turned around and left without any hesitation. Although he has shocked the entire Hogwarts. Even the big plan of the entire magical world. But this matter cannot be rushed. You have to look for a time when Hagrid is not around first. Give Harry Potter a hint. For example, there is a pervert in the academy who is very interested in you. Very sexual interest in your Harry's anus. You have to pay attention. Watching the 2 people leaving. Friends? Hagrid, you are right, I can indeed make friends here. Harry Potter shared it with Hagrid with some excitement. You will make more friends in the future, this is just the beginning, Harry, this is just the beginning. Hagrid squatted down. Looking at Harry Potter very seriously. Before that, let's go to Gringotts first, pick up some things there, and then buy school supplies. Harry Potter followed Hagrid silently. But in her mind, she was thinking about Crow. Hermione had Quirrell. The first 2 are his friends. The latter gave him a strange feeling. Harry Potter, who pondered to no avail for a while, shook his head. Follow Hagrid into the unique Gringotts. Flourish and blot books. Hermione absent-mindedly picked at her book. From time to time, he peeked at Crow who was distracted with a book. You asked Professor Quirrell to step down before? Why do I feel you are hostile to him? Did he do something? Hermione couldn't help but wonder. He seemed to ask accidentally. But the continuous questions showed the curiosity in her heart. Crow heard questions. Consciousness withdraws from the system space. He turned to look at Hermione who was peeking at him with bright eyes. Seeing him, Hermione quickly turned her attention back to the book. The embarrassment of being caught peeking at the bag also appeared on his face. Strong embarrassment detected. Get reward, silver treasure chest. System sounds are heard. Crow shook his head in amusement. I have no ill intentions towards Professor Quirrell. On the contrary, I wish I could see him every day. After all, he is a professor at the college. He can help us answer some questions, can't he? Crow threw the book in his hand into the basket aside. The purpose of his coming to Diagon Alley this time. 1 is to meet Harry Potter. See what treasure chests the protagonist can bring to himself. As for why I concluded that Harry Potter would come today. All because of Quirrell. He was clearly here waiting for Harry Potter. So he concluded. Harry Potter enters Diagon Alley in these 2 days. The second is because of Quirrell. Or rather, no-nos. After all, he is as famous as Dumbledore. Voldemort is also easier to break defenses than Dumbledore. The truth was just as he expected. Just one question. Since he has no nose, he contributed the king's treasure box to him. The third reason is because I want to buy books. Otherwise, all kinds of talents are empty. But there is no relevant knowledge at all. Isn't it just wasted? Are you really not hostile to him? Am I feeling wrong? Hermione frowned. Don't think so much, hurry up and see if there are any other books you like, and let's buy them back together. The admission date is September 1st, which is still more than half a month away. Do you want to waste it in vain? Crow picked up a copy of Elementary Transfiguration Theory and threw it into the basket. Hermione didn't ask further questions after hearing this. Then he happily picked up a book. I haven't had any playmates for a long time. Let her just read books to pass the time. Gradually, passing time became a hobby. Now I have the opportunity to read books about the wizarding world. Naturally she was extremely excited. Intense excitement detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. Crow paused while holding the book. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but raise. She is truly a treasure girl. He also contributed a gold treasure chest to him. Now he has 34 bronze treasure chests. 9 silver treasure chests. 7 golden treasure chests. A diamond treasure chest. A king's treasure chest. If synthesized, he has 2 diamond treasure chests. Crow's eyes flashed. My heart is full of expectations. I wonder what can be found in the treasure chest this time? Especially the king's chest. This came from Voldemort. He has a lot of good things in him. What's more, it's something that comes from the king's treasure chest. Chapter 29. Crow narrowed his eyes in satisfaction. Today is another fruitful day. Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't stand it when it comes to magical beasts. Hagrid scratched his head apologetically. As a fan of magical creatures. When I met Crow, who also likes magical animals, he couldn't help but share what he knew. Even promised Crow. Take him to see the Acromantula. It's okay, Professor Hagrid, we love hearing about magical beasts. In fact, everything you said makes me want to meet them now. Crow waved his hand nonchalantly. I'm not a teacher in the academy. You don't have to call me Professor. If you can, I want you to just call me Hagrid. When Hagrid spoke, from time to time, he looked at the owl shop on the side. I have something to do and I have to leave for a while. Can you please stay with Harry for a while? I'll be back soon. He didn't wait for anyone to answer. Hagrid went straight to the owl store. Crow raised his lips slightly when he saw this. It seems that Merlin really wants to see his big plan. Harry, I didn't expect you to be the lucky boy. I just read in the book that you killed the Dark Lord. It's great to be friends with you. Crow pretended to be delighted. Hermione's eyes widened. Crow looked at him in disbelief. I have never been separated from him. Which book did he read it from? But she didn't ask any more questions. Crow must have had his intentions when he said this. If you speak randomly, you may affect him. A strong sense of curiosity is detected. Get reward, silver treasure chest. Crow glanced back at Hermione. Seeing that her face was full of doubts, she didn't ask. Immediately more satisfied with her. Worthy of being the treasure girl Hermione. It is simply his biggest help on the way to collect treasure chests. No, I don't know what the Dark Lord is. In fact, I have not met the Dark Lord. Harry Potter lowered his head in despair. I have been at Uncle Vernon's house since I was born, and they have been very good to me. I can confirm that I have never seen the Dark Lord, let alone killed the Dark Lord. Harry Potter had a forced smile. Okay, but if you are the lucky boy, I have to warn you. You must be careful. Crow looked around cautiously. Harry Potter and Hermione looked confused. He leaned into Harry Potter's ear and spoke softly. I heard that there is a pervert in Hogwarts who is eyeing you. The person who told me the news said that the pervert is a homosexual and he also smelled copper. Although I don't know whether the news is true or false, you must be careful. Don't be afraid of 10,000, just be afraid of the worst. Be vigilant. Crow patted Harry Potter on the shoulder. At this time, Harry Potter was stunned. See, Crow wasn't joking. His anus suddenly tightened. His face was extremely embarrassed. Strong fear detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. What are you guys saying? Hermione frowned. He looked at the two of them a little uncomfortable. Crow only whispered to Harry Potter. But didn't tell her. This made her feel like she was back when she was ostracized before. It's nothing. I'll tell you when I get back. Crow took Hermione's little hand. Soothe her emotions softly. Joke. Hermione couldn't let her know about this. In case she spilled the beans. Then his plan to shock the entire wizarding world has failed. I was coaxed by Crow for a few words. Hermione just let go of her grievance. It was just the way she looked at Harry Potter. Unknowingly, some hostility arose. Oh, sorry kids, I'm late. Hagrid arrived late. Holding a birdcage in his hand. Inside is a beautiful snowy owl. What a beautiful owl! What's its name? When Harry Potter saw an owl, the fear and worry in my heart were instantly forgotten. Quickly ran to Hagrid. Looking excitedly at the snowy owl in the cage. You will always know what the name is. Now we have to match the wand first. I think that is what you should look forward to most. After Hagrid finished speaking, he looked at Crow and Hermione. Thank you two for accompanying Harry. I'm going to take him to get his wand made. Well, you may not know that this is my first time taking care of a new student. To be honest, I'm still a little nervous. Hagrid held his messy hair and smiled. I think you should be very suitable to take care of new students. Harry will not be the last one you take care of. We're going back first, nice to see you. Crow smiled at the two of them. After getting responses from the two people. Then he took Hermione and left. The hole has been dug. Just waiting for Harry to jump in. And Snape. I really want to know what he looks like when he sees Harry dressed as a woman. What will be the reaction? It must be interesting. Think of this. Crow couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth. Let's go quickly, or my parents will come back if they can't see us. I think they will go crazy. Hermione urged anxiously. It was already afternoon. Mr. and Mrs. Granger will be getting off work soon. Although they left a note before leaving. But that note is of no use. They all know it. A 10-year-old child left a note and disappeared mysteriously. Can adults not worry at all? Chapter 30. Night. After dinner. Crow returned to the house excitedly. While passing by the restroom. I didn't forget to go inside and wash my face. Let's take a look at today's harvest first. 34 bronzes, 12 silvers, and 9 golds. A diamond, a king's treasure chest. Crow sat cross-legged on the bed and waved his hand. Synthesize all the systems for me. Congratulations to the host for getting 3 silver treasure chests, and congratulations to the host for getting 1 gold treasure chest. Congratulations to the host for getting a diamond treasure chest. Another diamond treasure chest. Fragrant. Crow couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth. Keep the other low-level boxes and open the diamond treasure box. Give me the 3 unforgivable curses. Crow rubbed his hands expectantly. Congratulations to the host for opening the diamond treasure chest and receiving the reward, fainting curse. Stunning curse level 1, put the person who is hit into a coma. Crow took in the knowledge flooding into his mind. The corners of his mouth couldn't stop twitching. You just gave me a diamond treasure chest to make me faint? Although it is black magic, there are so many black magics, why did you give me this? Crow made some speechless remarks. Hexes, curses, and unforgivable curses in black magic. The fainting curse is a poisonous curse. It is one of the weakest forms of black magic. Basically no damage capability. Crow grabbed Eve, who was in a daze. Kneading her big round face. I don't believe it anymore, keep opening it for me. Crow rubbed Eve and said. Eve, shit shovel, if you can come up with something good, I'll stand on my head and poop. Congratulations to the host for opening the diamond treasure chest and receiving the reward, Tarantella dance. Tarantella dance, those who are tricked will dance uncontrollably and cannot stop even if they are exhausted. Crow lets go of Eve. Silently walked into the bathroom. I washed my face vigorously 3 or 4 times. After making sure there is no magazine on the face. Only then returned to bed. I still don't believe it. There are so many black magics, and I can't come up with one that is lethal. Don't let me down if you don't have a nose, otherwise I will spread the news that you have no nose throughout the wizarding world. Then I'll rob your snake named Nagini and stew the snake meat for you to eat." Crow took a deep breath. Eve looked at her shitmaker with disgust. He flapped his wings a few times and flew back to the shelf. "Become a melon eater." Really eating melon? Watermelon fed by Mrs. Granger. The 3 unforgivable curses, the fire curse, and all kinds of ancient magic. I won't dislike any of them. Crow gritted his teeth and spoke harshly. "King's treasure chest, open it for me." Congratulations to the host for opening the king's treasure box and receiving the reward, Nagini. Nagini, one of Voldemort's Horcruxes, was originally a blood-cursed orc, whose real name was Maledictus. Note: Nagini has been cleared of Voldemort's soul mark by the system and injected with the host's soul mark at the same time. Note: the curse of the blood-cursed orcs can be lifted, and Nagini can regain her true form. The system's voice just finished. One is nearly 4 meters long. A giant green python as thick as a bucket suddenly appeared. It was a fairly big room. It suddenly became crowded. Crow stared blankly at Nagini's snake eyes. Eve was so frightened that she opened her mouth. "I just muttered a few words. Is it possible for a shit-shoveling person to bring up such a big snake?" "N.A. Nagini." Crow spoke tentatively. Nagini spat out the snake core. Stare at Crow. No reaction at all. Just as Crow stiffened. When he was about to take out his magic wand and fight to the death, Nagini instead leaned closer to Crow. Eve stared. He flapped his wings and wanted to attack Nagini. But Crow waved him off. Helpless Eve could only look at Nagini warily in the air. "Should I call you Nagini, or should I call you your human name?" Crow tentatively reached out and stroked the snake's head. Cool to the touch. Let his tense body relax a little. "If you like, you can call me whatever you want. I am your Horcrux, no matter what you call me." A clear and sweet voice sounded in Crow's head. Just in the sound. But it's hard to describe the feeling of loss. "What? Don't you like me as your new master?" "That's right, Voldemort treats you quite well." Crow was keenly aware of her emotions. "Stop stroking the snake's head. It's just that you are my Horcrux and my snake now." "What about Voldemort? Let his parents give birth to a younger brother." Crow looked at Nagini's snake eyes without evading. He didn't shy away from complaining about Voldemort. "He is the most rubbish villain I've ever seen. He's the Dark Lord. If I stick 2 green onions in his nose, oh, I forgot, he has no nose." Nagini heard Crow's words. Couldn't help but laugh. But she forgot that she was still in the form of a python. A giant python that is more than 3 meters thick and as thick as a bucket. The scene of smiling. Very beautiful. Beautiful. Crow was stiff. There is even the illusion that he will be eaten in the next second. Eve's feathers stood on end. The whole bird stared at Nagini as if facing a formidable enemy. This guy who shovels shit is really a scammer. Fortunately, she still feels like shoveling shit. Chapter 31. Nagini also noticed something strange about Crow. He quickly put away his charming smile. "Sorry, I just regained consciousness and I don't have the ability to return to human form yet." Nagini looked at Crow with apologetic eyes. But this look was focused on her current body. "No matter how you look at it, it feels like you are looking at prey. How long will it take for you to transform again? I can't just take you to Hogwarts, right? Even if you don't go, you will scare Hermione and the others now." Crow frowned. Although the treasure chest opened Nagini, he was surprised. But not exclusive. If he remembered correctly, the human form of Nagini is an East Asian beauty with incredible beauty. And she now has her own soul mark. It is equivalent to one's own Horcrux. This means he could also be like Voldemort. Reborn with the aid of a Horcrux. It's just that he didn't feel like his soul was being torn apart. But the system won't lie to him, right? Although it is a scam system. System, thank you, I can hear it. Diagon Alley. Gringotts underground vault. Master, there is no magic stone here, what should we do? In a few minutes. AO from the Ministry of Magic. Luo will be here. I'm afraid, it's not their rival. Quirrell held the wand in panic. At his feet lay the lifeless corpse of a goblin. You idiot, do I still need to talk to you? If you can't beat him, just run away. Why are you standing there in a daze? Are you waiting for someone to catch you? Why do I have, what happened, what happened? My Horcrux? Nagini. My Naginina? Damn it. Who is it? Who killed Nagini? Voldemort roared angrily. Just now his soul trembled. Keenly aware of the loss of a Horcrux. And it was Nagini who was hidden by him. Once the soul mark is imprinted, it cannot be erased. There is a part of his soul in it after all. Losing contact can only mean that Horcrux has been destroyed. Nagini is a living creature again. That can only explain. Nagini is dead. Master, are you perceiving wrong? Quirrell asked cautiously. Feel Voldemort's overwhelming anger. He couldn't help but tremble all over. In a blink. Cold sweat soaked his clothes. Shut up, trash. How could I be wrong about the disappearance of my Horcrux? What are you doing, you loser? Why don't you run away quickly? Voldemort's voice was filled with anger and resentment. Don't let me know who killed Nagini, otherwise I will make him crumble. Quirrell nodded repeatedly with a cold sweat on his face. There was no hesitation in taking the cable car straight to the ground. The underground vault is under a spell. Movement magic cannot be used. Otherwise, he would just dissipate and go out. 444, Lily Street. Quirrell looked at the giant creature in front of him with a sad expression. I'm sorry, Master, I'm useless. It will take more than a month to regain my physical body. Nagini lowered her head. In fact, she was also helpless. Blood-cursed orcs are not animagus. Although it can also turn into magical animals. But the blood-cursed orcs were cursed. Consciousness will gradually fade away. Until it completely becomes a magical animal. Originally, she was hidden by Voldemort in a secret place and slept. There is not much consciousness left. It can be said that it has become a real basilisk. As soon as I opened my eyes. Here she comes. His weak consciousness was completely awakened. Even the soul mark in his mind disappeared. Before she could be happy. Another soul mark was imprinted deep in her soul. She is still confused until now. Not sure what happened. Plus the long-lasting basilisk form. It had made her forget how to take human form. It's okay, I don't blame you for this. Crow reluctantly stroked Nagini's scales a few times. Nagini also instinctively wrapped her body around Crow. Eve's eyelids jumped at this scene. She silently turned her back to the two of them. The inexplicable shit shovel officer. Inexplicable basilisk. Crow sat cross-legged on the bed. Her hand was still caressing Nagini. Have to say. Nagini's slightly cool scales. It feels slippery and really comfortable. Nagini was also lying on the bedside enjoying herself. Just tell the system, how to solve this matter. You can't really expect me to take her to the academy directly, can you? Crow spoke expressionlessly. If you really want me to die quickly and find a new host as soon as possible, then you can continue to pretend to be mute. I can take Nagini out tomorrow and amaze the whole world. Are you satisfied? Crow said nothing more. Just wait quietly for the system to respond. He didn't dare to say anything else. Just take Nagini out tomorrow. Not only the Muggle world will be shocked. The Wizarding world will also be shocked. Even Dumbledore had to personally bring elite Aurors to visit. Nagini is Voldemort's Horcrux. Although wizards don't know what a Horcrux is. But they knew Nagini was Voldemort's pet. Now Nagini reappears. How could they not guess whether Voldemort was resurrected? Chapter 32. There was silence throughout the room. The only thing Crow made was the rustling sound when he touched Nagini. I don't know how much time has passed. When Crow thought his threat had failed. Redemption template trial version is loading. Crow sat up suddenly. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but raise. Coming. Nagini and Eve heard the noise. They all opened their eyes and looked at Crow. Wondering what he was doing when he suddenly sat up. Redemption template trial version is loaded successfully. The host has the right to redeem once, and this redemption will be discounted at 10%. Crow grinned. After accepting the information incoming from the system. I roughly understand the meaning of the redemption template. Just use a certain number of treasure chests. In exchange for specified items. Such as magic spells, magical animals, and the Elder Wand treasure chests are a matter of chance. Exchange is something designated. But the skill of using the treasure chests for redemption is also amazing. The big melon he wants most requires 10 diamond treasure chests. Or 3 king's chests. After the discount, all you need is a diamond treasure chest. Or a king's chest. Kroll looked at it with envy. But he could only close the screen silently. What's the use of giving me this thing? I don't have a diamond treasure chest or a king's treasure chest anymore. You can't expect me to do it anymore, can you? Crow made some speechless remarks. Props that can solve the host's dilemma have been listed, please consider whether to buy them. The system's voice just finished. A light curtain appeared in front of Crow's eyes. Pokemon ball? Pokemon box? Are you sure it's not a Pokeball and Newt's suitcase? Crow stared speechlessly. No, the magical animal box can only hold one magical animal, and the space inside is customized according to the size of the magical animal. Thank you for reminding me. You are really an iron rooster who doesn't pluck his hair, no. The iron rooster has to pluck out his hair now. The corners of Crow's mouth twitched a few times. I thought you were finally being generous and wanted to give me Newt's suitcase of the same style. After all, I paid for it by mistake. The system remained silent as if it didn't hear Crow's complaints. Crow looked helplessly at the two products. The price of these two products is amazing. Just use up all his boxes, no more, no less. It was as if these boxes were specially brought for him. His eyes flickered slightly. Let him know from the information incoming from the system. Redemption panel for this trial version. It will be automatically uninstalled after tonight. The 10% off discount will also disappear. He also looked at other products. It's not something he can bear at the moment. You're a cheating system, Iron Rooster. Buy it, Fantastic Beast Ball. Crow waved his hand helplessly. Congratulations to the host for receiving the reward, the Magical Animal Ball. Magical Animal Ball, it can accommodate one magical animal, and its inner space will be customized according to the size of the magical animal. Note, a magical animal ball can only bind one magical animal. The trial of the redemption system has ended and is being uninstalled, the system's voice fell. A pure white ball appeared in Crow's hand. Thankfully it's not red and white, otherwise it would really be a Pokeball. Crow turned and looked at Nagini. At the same time, he raised the ball in his hand. Your new home, I guess you will have to stay there for a while. At least until I deal with Quirrell who is possessed by Voldemort, you'd better stay there. Don't worry, I will let you out for some air when no one is around. Crow gently placed the ball on Nagini's head. Nagini was obedient and didn't resist. The ball opened with a bang. Pure white light shines from it. The transformation instantly enveloped Nagini. In a blink, the nearly 4-meter-long giant python disappeared out of thin air. The ball in the air also fell into Crow's hands. Eve's eyes widened in surprise again. He flapped his wings and landed on the bed. Her round eyes stared closely at the green, patterned ball in Crow's hand. This thing. It can eat animals. Crow played with the dark green ball with patterns. This thing is included after Nagini. It changed from pure white to dark green. Just like the color of Nagini's body. Dense patterns. It also looks like scales. Okay, it's free, it always tastes good. Crow raised his lips. I wonder what Voldemort's expression would be like when he saw me throwing the ball and releasing Nagini. He will definitely contribute another king's treasure box to me. And those little snakes, snake house. Can we still call it a snake house if we don't raise snakes? Is it normal for a little snake to raise a snake? Crow's eyes flashed. The idea of using the magical animal ball to get the treasure chest came to mind instantly. Even if Dumbledore caught him. What can he do? Isn't it normal for a little snake in a snake farm to keep a snake as a pet? As for whether I can be assigned to the snake hospital. As long as he won't be assigned to Azkaban. Go to sleep, and continue to clean the treasure chest tomorrow. But it's better not to go to Diagon Alley recently, otherwise it will be bad if you are stared at by someone without a nose. He should have sensed that Nagini's soul mark has disappeared by now, right? Let me think about it, he must be roaring crazily at Quirrell. Crow said with some pity. It's a pity that he doesn't know that I did it, otherwise he would have obtained several more King's treasure chests. Chapter 33. London. King's Cross Platform. Where the hell is platform 9 3/4? God, we're not going to be late for the first time, are we? Hermione looked around anxiously. As a top student, she just couldn't imagine it. What are the consequences of being late on the first day of school? Crow rubbed her little head funnily. Guess why we can't find station 9 3/4? Has our primary school bully forgotten something? What's the matter? I brought Crookshanks, and I brought all the magic books. Is there anything else you forgot? Hermione frowned in confusion. Have you ever thought that 9 3/4 means a simple place name? Hermione didn't wait to continue asking. Crow walked towards platform 9 with a smile on his face. A strong sense of curiosity is detected. Get reward, silver treasure chest. 2 strong doubtful emotions detected. Reward, 2 bronze treasure chests. System sounds are heard. Crow couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth. Half a month's time. Hermione and the other 2 contributed many more treasure chests to him. Hermione alone contributed 5 gold treasure chests to him. 13 silver treasure chests. The Granger couple also donated more than 20 bronze treasure chests to him. Not much though. But no matter how small the mosquito legs are, they are still meat. Although he didn't go to Diagon Alley to collect treasure chests in half a month. But also with the gift of photographic memory. I have almost finished reading the books I bought. I also learned a few practical magic tricks like restoring the original state. Crow's eyes flashed. The system opens my panel. Host, Crow Wells. Occupation, Wizard, Dark Wizard, Master of Magical Beasts. Talents, the best Black Magic talent, the best Transfiguration talent, the best Magical Animal Affinity, Magic, Fainting Curse LV1, Tarantella Dance LV1, Expelliarmus LV1. Pets, Fulla, Nagini. Props, Magic Wand, Magical Animal Ball Nagini, 300 gold galleons, treasure chests, bronze treasure chest, 26, silver treasure chest, 14, gold treasure chest, 5. Although it's not very luxurious, it's still no problem to kick the butts of those little snakes and little lions. Crow frowned. The first priority now is to obtain a clumency, otherwise my identity will be exposed too easily, and the best candidate. I think Professor Snape must really want to see Lily again, right? A smirk appeared on Crow's lips. What are you laughing at? Didn't you say you were going to platform 9 3/4? Why did you stop at platform 9? Hermione paused. He stared at a few people pushing luggage carts not far away with wide eyes. The person who rushed directly into the third stone pillar. The round faces on their luggage. Owl cages. It's simply too conspicuous. Let's go. If we go too late, we might not get a good seat. Crow turned his head and looked at the Grangers sincerely. Uncle and Aunt, don't worry. I will take good care of Hermione. I won't let her get hurt even if I risk my own life. After all, she is my savior. Crow glanced at Hermione with a half-smile. Rest assured. A few more years. I will definitely come back with your dear grandson. Bring several. You must be careful in school. Don't be impulsive when things happen. You must discuss things and listen to each other's opinions. Okay, they are just going to school, don't make it look like they are going to the battlefield. Mr. Granger comforted his wife gently. Hermione, Crow, you are all smart kids. You should take care of yourselves at school. When you have time, ask that fat chicken to send 2 letters back. Even the cage turned her head silently. Think silently in your heart. Don't listen, that BD is chanting sutras. Mom and Dad, we are no longer children, we can take care of ourselves. Hermione finished with a little pout. Then he threw himself into the arms of Mr. and Mrs. Granger. She had never known what it was like to be separated from her parents. Although there is curiosity about the unknown world in my heart. But there is also the anguish of parting from loved ones. Mr. and Mrs. Granger hugged Hermione tightly as well. Hogwarts is no ordinary school. They act as muggles. Even going to school to visit my daughter is a luxury. Crow took the luggage cart from the 2 of them. Standing there quietly watching this scene. Well, you are already a big boy, and Crow is still waiting for you. Don't keep him waiting too long. Hermione reluctantly let go of her arms after hearing this. He turned to look at Crow who was waiting there. Think of the unknown world. Her mood became brighter again. Let's leave first. If we're late, we might not be able to catch the train. Hermione pushed the luggage trolley and waved to Mr. and Mrs. Granger. Crow also nodded to the 2 of them. Then he pushed the luggage trolley and followed Hermione's back. At this moment. I am even more determined to repay the Granger couple well. Returning a favor many times more. They must be filled with children and grandchildren. Let them experience the feeling of pain and happiness. Remember to let the fat chicken with a round face deliver the letters home. Eve. Chapter 34. Hogwarts Express. Crow walked onto the train with an amazed Hermione. After choosing an unoccupied carriage. Then he took Hermione into it. I saw a lot of children the same age as us. They should all be little wizards at the same level as us. You don't know that we... Hermione excitedly told Crow what she had seen and heard. Didn't even think about it. Crow walked with her. How could Crow not see what she saw? But Crow didn't specify. Instead, he listened to Hermione's story with interest. Don't you love your treasure, girl? Do we have to wait for Huang Mao to come? For nothing else. Just to kill Ronald. I really didn't expect that there would be a steam train in the wizarding world. I thought we would fly directly to Hogwarts. Hermione took the warm water from Crow. He raised his head and drank without hesitation. There is nothing girlish about her. On the contrary, he looked very heroic. Crow was already used to her appearance. I just held the Intermediate Transfiguration Guide and read it carefully. Steam train? This is not an ordinary steam train, it is a train that has been enchanted. I don't think there are any freshmen who don't know this. The sudden sound startled the two of them. Hermione had just taken a gulp of water. After seeing the person pushing the door open. Cassandra, who had just opened the door, couldn't react at all. Hermione sprayed her all over. Dark green gorgeous dress. It becomes more delicate and beautiful when soaked in water. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Hermione hurried forward to help Cassandra clean up the water stain. What are you doing? What I said made you resentful. To the point where you sprayed me with water. Cassandra's face was livid. His arrogant attitude was completely gone. Angrily, he dodged Hermione's outstretched hand. Cassandra glared angrily at the smiling Crow. Why are you laughing? Is it funny? Although he looks good, he has a brain comparable to a troll. Strong anger detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. Crow suppressed a smile. Drawing the wand from his pocket. Recover as before. A stream of bright green light fell on Cassandra's dress. The long skirt that was soaked by water returned to its original shape instantly. First of all, you have to understand that it was you who came in without knocking that scared Hermione. That's why she sprayed water all over you. In addition, what you said before is not correct. The knowledge you mentioned is not known to all the young wizards who enroll. Not everyone is pure blood. As Crow spoke, he pulled a somewhat aggrieved Hermione aside. Hold her little hand to calm her down. You are a pure-blood wizard, and your family will naturally teach you the knowledge of the wizarding world. But for us mixed bloods, we have to learn on our own by reading books. Cassandra looked embarrassed. The little hands were clenched into fists. Emerald eyes stared hard at Crow. Are you saying that I didn't acquire all my knowledge by myself? Is it all unearned? Crow smiled slightly when he heard this. No denial or admission. Just soothing Hermione's mood. Strong anger detected. Get reward, diamond treasure box. Strong happy emotions detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. Crow's lips raised slightly. Sure enough, the treasure girls came in pairs. The speed of farming treasure chests has also been doubled. Cassandra even directly contributed the diamond treasure chest. But he could also guess the reason. Cassandra has always been confident in her knowledge. Suddenly it was said that everything I learned was obtained for free. Especially the conflict with her. She and Hermione had suffered a lot. It will definitely break her defense. Not even the diamond treasure chest is enough to indicate her true inner emotions. It's just that she's not strong enough now. The most you can do is provide yourself with a diamond treasure chest. It's okay if you understand it that way, but what do I really mean? Do you really not understand? Crow feigned surprise. It seems incredible. Cassandra's expression froze. Somewhat overwhelmed, he clenched his fists. What he means is that as a pure blood, you have access to more resources. Many things that you think are common sense, but us mixed bloods have to learn little by little. Hermione pursed her lips and spoke in a calm voice. She didn't like Cassandra. Because every time she harbors deep hostility towards the two of them. I definitely know what it means. Do you still need to explain it? Humph. Cassandra snorted. Angrily, he sat across from the two of them. Don't get me wrong, the other carriages are full. And they are very noisy. I like to read quietly and don't like to be with noisy people. Cassandra glanced at Crow. He raised his head and spoke expressionlessly. I take back what I said before, you are not the brain of a troll, you are at least the brain of the wise one among the trolls. Crow raised his eyebrows in amusement. Thank you for your compliment. I'm really honored. After saying that, he stopped talking to Cassandra. Instead, he lowered his head and continued to read the book in his hand. Hermione also moved her little head next to him. The two of them were looking at the book with their heads leaning against each other. Cassandra was left alone, frowning in annoyance. Intense anger detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. Chapter 35. At this moment the Hogwarts Express has set off. The three people in the carriage were relatively speechless. Crow and Hermione were looking intently at their books. Have a few discussions from time to time. It was as if Cassandra was excluded. This has attracted much attention to her since she was a child. Feeling more frustrated than ever. Several times she wanted to speak. But when the words came to his lips, he couldn't say them out. Crow could only stare angrily. Do you really have to speak up yourself? Is he anything like a gentleman? He's as stupid as a troll. A strong feeling of irritation is detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. Crow raised the corners of his mouth. He raised his head and looked at Cassandra, who was fuming. Tisk. This treasure chest. It's so easy to brush. Cassandra has a proud personality. It's naturally easy to let her break her defense. Just let her feel a sense of gap. Let her thrive on what she is good at. The treasure chest is here. And the level of the treasure chest will definitely not be low. Bump. You two guys make it easy for me to find you. Just when Crow wanted to speak, the carriage door was violently pushed open. Came Malfoy's angry voice. Just now he brought two small followers with him. Goyle and Crabbe are looking for an empty carriage. Also looking for Crow and Hermione. He still remembers the last grudge. As soon as I saw the familiar figures of the two people, Malfoy couldn't help but be angry. He pushed open the door and rushed in. Staring at the two familiar figures, Malfoy's anger couldn't stop boiling. He didn't notice the frowning Cassandra at the side. Crow gave him a casual look. Hey, isn't this our Master Malfoy? Did he see an uncontrolled owl somewhere and come to seek justice? Crow looked around. Then you've come to the wrong place. There are only 3 of us here. Well, the number of people has not changed since we got on the bus. Few Hermione and Cassandra were slightly startled. Then he couldn't help but smile. The gazes looking at the 3 Malfoys also changed somewhat. Hermione gave Crow an even more reproachful look. The 3 Malfoys looked at each other blankly. Don't know what they are laughing at. But he knows. What Crow said was definitely not a good thing. Most likely he was mocking them. Malfoy, who was already furious, couldn't help but make Malfoy even angrier. Both hands were clenched into fists. His eyes were filled with red bloodshot eyes. Strong anger detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. A strong feeling of joy is detected. Obtain treasure chest, golden treasure chest detected. A series of sounds sounded from the system. Crow had a satisfied smile on his face. He also looked at Malfoy with satisfaction. What a money-giving boy. When I arrived, I gave myself 3 gold treasure chests. Plus 2 silver treasure chests. They are there. Why worry about not being invincible? Don't talk nonsense. Do you really think you'll be safe if you mess with me? Professor McGonagall can't be with you all the time. Malfoy drew his wand, giving Crow a stern look. Goyle and Crabbe saw this. They looked at each other hesitantly. Finally he took out his wand from his pocket. 3 different-looking wands were pointed at Crow. The tip of the wand emits a faint glow. That's the reaction after magic fills the wand. Crow stopped Hermione, who was about to take out her wand. Then he signaled to Cassandra with his eyes. Oh, Master Malfoy is planning to kill everyone on the Hogwarts Express? To show the dignity of your Malfoy family. Crow shook his head sadly. What a pity, noble Malfoy, a pure-blood family. At this time, instead of thinking about how to deal with the admission examination, I think about taking action on the Hogwarts Express. If only you could be so brave when fighting against the giant spider. Crow's eyes suddenly widened. They looked at the three Malfoys with surprise. You don't know about the admission examination, right? Didn't your family tell you? Oh my god, are you really a pure-blood family? The three Malfoy brothers looked stiff. They looked at each other somewhat bewilderedly. What nonsense are you talking about? We have never heard of admission examination. If you are afraid, please beg for mercy. For Merlin's sake, we will spare your life. Malfoy frowned and glared at Crow. Didn't believe what he said at all. The entrance examination is the default rule. Your parents didn't say it. It is also one of the rules. It is to test whether you have the ability to become the heir of the family. Cassandra spoke slowly and logically. As he spoke, he cast a haughty look at Crow. It's like saying thank me quickly. Crow pulled Hermione, who looked confused. Smiling at Cassandra. Cassandra saw this. He turned his head proudly. Like a victorious peacock. But the smile that couldn't help but rise at the corners of her lips betrayed her heart. Strong happy emotion detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. A strong feeling of grievances detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. A strong feeling of panic is detected. Reward, golden treasure chest. Detected. Chapter 36. Crow narrowed his eyes happily. A moment of effort. He obtained 3 more golden treasure chests. 2 silver treasure chests. This feeling of brushing a treasure chest. It's the same feeling as saving money and watching your savings grow little by little. I feel so comfortable. Miss Worley? Why are you in the same carriage with them? And is what you just said true? Why do you know but we don't? Malfoy looked at Cassandra in panic. He doesn't have to believe it if someone else says it. But where is Cassandra's identity? It is far from necessary to help Crow deceive himself. Who do you think you are? That I would go out of my way to lie to you? Do you think too highly of yourself? Cassandra sneered. Completely disregarding Malfoy's face. Her words made Malfoy look embarrassed. The attitude of disbelief has also turned into doubt. Cassandra said it unpleasantly. But it's quite right. She really didn't need to lie to herself. Ms. Worley, do you know what is tested in the entrance examination? What will be the consequences if you fail the exam? Is this really related to the issue of family inheritance? Malfoy looked at Cassandra hesitantly. My parents only have me as their only son. If they don't let me inherit, who else can inherit the family business? Crow stood up and chuckled. Under the vigilant gazes of the 3 Malfoys. Pat Malfoy on the shoulder. Your parents are still young, and they are both wizards. It is not easy to have another child. The big one is useless, and it is always necessary to practice a small one. Crow paused. It's like your wand. Although you like it very much, it's broken. Will you continue to use it instead of using a better wand? The 3 Malfoys heard this. His face became even more ugly. The hand holding the wand tightened slightly. Malfoy raised his head sharply. Staring at Crow. We don't know about the assessment. How did you, a mudblood, know about it? Cassandra and Hermione frowned. Keep your mouth clean. Crow said you are not a human being, but do you really want to be a dog? Did you eat your words in your mouth? Are your words so smelly? Who are you calling a mudblood? I think you are a mudblood. You are full of filthy words, and you still compare yourself to others. It's simply disgusting. The 2 women spoke in unison. After saying this, they were all slightly stunned. They looked at each other and then smiled. Then they all glared at Malfoy with annoyed eyes. Crow, just wait for me. Wait until I ask you about the admission examination, and then I'll come back to you. Malfoy gave Crow a stern look. He was taught family honor since he was a child. I feel immense hatred for Crow, the person who insulted the family. The revenge of being scolded severely by Lucius. He counts Crow as well. A strong feeling of hatred is detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. Detected. You don't have to be angry. I'm not angry. Why are you angry? Crow smiled and looked at the 2 women. Cassandra and Hermione's breath hitched. I was about to ask Crow what he meant. Just listen to him speak again. I want to teach you a truth. Getting angry with a fool is the stupidest thing. Well, it's the same as getting angry with a troll. Crow said casually. To deal with them, we only need to dig a hole and let them jump in obediently, that's enough. Don't you want to know the consequences of the entrance examination? I think the reaction of the first-year students will be very interesting. Crow put the book away. He walked out of the car with a playful look on his face. Hermione and Cassandra looked at each other. In tacit agreement, he stood up and followed Crow. In a carriage. The three Malfoys looked at Marcus expectantly. Marcus looked at the people next to him funny. Then he pretended to be serious. Actually, we shouldn't tell you. After all, it goes against the original intention of the assessment. Since you already know it, we won't hide it from you. The three Malfoys heard this. His face turned pale with fright. Then, what exactly is this entrance examination? A written test or a battle? Who is the opponent in the battle? Malfoy asked tremblingly. This depends on your own luck. What was the assessment last year? Marcus pretended not to remember. Single in a acromantula, oh, Merlin's beard, I still remember the way those students were packed up and hung up. It was even worse the year before. I went to the bottom of the Black Lake to fight octopuses. Alas, one of the children was very unfortunate, and never came up again. The discussions of several people made Malfoy and others tremble. Then how did you enroll in school? I don't believe you have the strength to challenge the acromantula alone. Malfoy had an idea. He glared at the people in front of him and asked. Marcus and others looked stiff. Well, actually, we were lucky. That year we were allowed to survive 10 minutes under the hands of the fire dragon. As long as we didn't escape, we passed. That's right. Fortunately, the fire dragon was just a baby at the time, otherwise we wouldn't have dared to get close. Even a baby is very powerful. A few flaps of its wings can create a strong wind. If I hadn't grabbed that boulder at that time, I would have definitely been eliminated. Marcus and the others began to discuss each other word by word. Chapter 37. The three Malfoy brothers listened more and more. The expression becomes more frightening. Thank you for your warning. I'm going back to rest first. Malfoy swallowed. He pushed up his weak legs. He walked out of the car tremblingly. Marcus and the others watched the three people leaving. After closing the door and casting the soundproofing spell. Then he couldn't help laughing. Boss, what should we do? I don't want to fight the acromantula alone, and I don't want to fight the Charmander. Is there any way not to take the assessment? I'm still young and don't want to be food for these things. Goyle and Crabbe looked at Malfoy expectantly. Don't be afraid. Let's ask a few more people. Maybe they are the ones who lied about this. Malfoy swallowed. Pretending to be calm, he spoke. Then the three of them ran around in the various carriages. Ask senior students about entrance exams. Seniors who have experienced the entrance examination crisis a long time ago. Naturally, I gave answers to several people very thoughtfully. The entrance exam is not as dangerous as you think. As long as you protect yourself, you won't die. It's just the entrance examination, are you even afraid of this? Back then, I rode on the neck of the giant monster and fought with him for 300 rounds without losing any of it. Who told you about this? They didn't tell you that this year's entrance exam is to steal spider eggs from the acromantula swarm, right? Words like these made the Malfoys completely despair. Along with the other freshmen in the carriage. I also learned about the entrance examination. Soon it was spread from 10 to 10. Entire Hogwarts Express aboard. There were wailing sounds one after another. All kinds of cries echoed throughout the carriage. A strong emotion of fear is detected. Reward, bronze treasure chest. Detected. The system's audio prompts seemed to be unstoppable. Kept echoing in Crow's mind. Turn off the notification sound for me first. Wait until the system sound disappears. His frown relaxed. The sporadic beeps from the system are fine. Such a dense sound made him a little irritated. It's like there's a radio station playing in your head. This matter is a bit big. We won't be punished, right? Hear ghosts crying and howling outside. Hermione spoke worriedly. Humph, what's the big deal? Did we do anything? We just told Malfoy. It was the news spread by Malfoy that caused panic. Cassandra snorted. If the Academy really wants to blame, you can just say it was my idea. This incident is not serious to begin with, and given my status, I will at most be reprimanded a few words. I don't care about you and want to bear the blame for you, it's just. Cassandra didn't know how to explain it. You just feel that you are also responsible for this matter. Yes. That's it. Cassandra hasn't finished her excited words yet. I saw Crow folding his arms with a playful expression. The words that came to my lips were immediately unspeakable. The excited expression also returned to calm. He silently picked up the book beside him and read it. There was no trace of excitement from before. Miss Cassandra, it's a pleasure to be your friend. My name is Hermione Granger and this is Crow Wells. We are both Muggle-born. Hermione smiled innocently. Cassandra's previous actions make her impressed. The previous resistance to her also disappeared. Cassandra opened her mouth, looking at Hermione with some shock. See her look firm and innocent. There is no sign of clinging to power. Then I gave up what I wanted to say to others. Cassandra Worley. Cassandra thought for a long time. Then he said his name in a deep voice. After saying that, he lowered his head and said no more words. He didn't seem to care at all about being friends with Hermione. But the hands holding the pages were trembling. But it came out of her heart. Cassandra, why did you help me deceive Malfoy just now? If I remember correctly, you are quite disgusted with me, right? Kroll looked amused. He was playing with a dark green ball in his hand. Who said I was helping you? Which of your eyes saw that I was helping you? Cassandra raised her head proudly. Malfoy used to stalk me, and I was very annoyed. Even though I know it's not his fault, it was forced by the family. But I'm still very annoyed. I just wanted to take the opportunity to retaliate against him. I definitely didn't want to help you. Cassandra looked serious. Crow and Hermione looked at each other. The two of them looked at her with half smiles. This made Cassandra extremely embarrassed. I can only hold up the book and pretend to know nothing. Bump just when Cassandra was on pins and needles. When I want to get up and find an excuse to leave. The carriage door was knocked again. Enter. Kroll looked away. He spoke softly and casually. The carriage door was pushed open again. Two little boys stood timidly at the door. Crow. Hermione. I thought I was wrong, but I didn't expect it was you. You don't know, it's so nice to see you here. I thought you didn't catch the train. Chapter 38. Harry, it's nice to see you here. Crow smiled and greeted Harry Potter. Then he looked at the boy with a piece of dust on his nose. Who is this? Harry Potter was just about to introduce. Ronald spoke before him. Ronald Weasley, if you are Harry's friend, you are my friend. Ronald introduced him very familiarly. Crow raised his eyebrows with a smile. Nice to meet you, Mr. Weasley. Well, although I hate to say it, I still want to remind you. There's something dirty on your nose. I think you should clean it. Ronald's expression froze. Rubbing the bridge of his nose awkwardly. I also felt a little ill feeling towards Crow. Hermione and Cassandra were also disgusted by him. A strong feeling of embarrassment is detected. Get reward, silver treasure chest. Well. I came here this time to ask you about what you said last time. Harry Potter looked around. Open your mouth carefully. Hermione rolled her eyes at Crow angrily. Then he turned around and approached Cassandra, who looked curious. Explain Crow's glorious deeds to her. What do you want to ask? Do you know who that person is? Oh, no, if you guessed it was him, you are wrong. That person is not Professor Quirrell. Crow shook his head seriously. I can't say who the person is specifically. You also know that I'm just a new student and I can't afford to offend that person. Joke. Such a fun thing. It would be interesting for Harry Potter to discover it himself. Only he himself discovered it. Feeling scared. Only then can that great plan proceed better. How could you do this? Harry is your friend. You know he is in danger, why do you still? That's enough, Ronald, I don't blame Crow for this. He has helped me enough. If it were me, I would make the same choice. Ronald hasn't finished speaking yet. Harry Potter frowned and interrupted. Ronald didn't wait for more words. He looked at Crow with somewhat pleading eyes. Since that person is not Professor Quirrell, then my guess is wrong. I know you can't tell me directly who that person is. Harry Potter looked sincere. Can you reveal something to me? For example, what are the characteristics of that person? Is he a man or a woman? Tall or short? Fat or thin? Crow's lips raised slightly. The fish's hooked crow was about to answer his question. Crisp exclamations resounded in the carriage. Harry Potter? Is he Harry Potter? The legendary savior? The being who defeated that person? It doesn't look too bad either. Cassandra eyed Harry Potter suspiciously. As proud as she is. Although I was a little surprised when I found out Harry Potter's identity. But looking at Harry Potter's ordinary appearance, the surprise dissipated instantly. If it weren't for Harry, we would still be living in fear of that person and leading a precarious life. Ronald looked at Cassandra coldly. Harry killed that man. He is the savior of the wizarding world. Just forget it if you don't know how to be grateful. Why are you so arrogant? A person like you is best suited to go to Slytherin, where dark wizards gather. Evil Slytherin, Ronald said with a hint of disgust. He grew up listening to Harry Potter stories. There is an invisible admiration for Harry Potter. Now I heard Cassandra's words. Naturally he was very angry. You. Cassandra glared at Ronald and was about to reply. As soon as he opened his mouth, Crow stretched out his hand to stop him. Normally she would have pushed Crow away without saying a word. Then he got angry with Crow. But now she doesn't know why. Miraculously, he didn't continue to speak. Just stood angrily next to Hermione. Crow looked at Ronald calmly. Evil Slytherin? And what do you think is justice? Gryffindor? Ravenclaw? Hufflepuff? Of course Gryffindor. There has never been a dark wizard from the Lion's Court. The greatest white wizard, the headmaster of Hogwarts, came from Gryffindor. Ronald spoke without hesitation. Don't forget to hold your head high when you speak. A look of pride on his face. Well, that makes sense. But did Dumbledore know when you said this? Or did he define the other three houses as evil? Crow chuckled. I think it's impossible, right? Dumbledore is the Dean of Hogwarts after all. He shouldn't be able to do such a thing, right? Oh, by the way, do you have the Daily Prophet's phone number? Crow turned to look at Cassandra. Cassandra and Hermione looked at him quizzically. Dumbledore, the headmaster of Hogwarts and the greatest white wizard in the legend. He actually defines all other houses except Gryffindor as evil. This must be pretty cool news, isn't it? I think we'll get paid handsomely. Crow reached out and patted Ronald on the shoulder. We will share the reward with you. After all, you provided the information. You should get part of the reward. Don't worry, I won't compete with you for this credit. I will give you a separate signature when the time comes. Strong angry emotions detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. Detected. Chapter 39. Crow had an unstoppable smile on his face. It was in stark contrast to the dull atmosphere in the carriage. Just a few sentences. He harvested 4 golden treasure chests. They really deserve to be the protagonist group of the original work. Ronald, you, Professor Dumbledore never said such a thing, how could you? Harry Potter looked at Ronald with some anger. I didn't, I wasn't, it was him. He was confusing right and wrong, and I didn't mean that at all. Ronald was anxious to explain. But I don't know how to explain it. The words were indeed spoken by him. Harry Potter and others all heard it. Ronald had no choice but to point the finger at Crow. Hey, don't talk nonsense. It was you who said that the Snake Yard is a place where dark wizards gather, and it was you who said that only the Lion Yard has never had any dark wizards. Crow spread his hands. You pulled it out yourself, Dumbledore. We all heard it clearly. It was you who said it, not me. Cassandra and Hermione nodded in agreement. Stand next to Crow. They all glared at Ronald. A strong feeling of resentment is detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. Harry, you should know me, I can't possibly mean this. Ronald was as anxious as an ant on a hot pot. Tugging at Harry Potter's sleeve. Look at him with pleading eyes. Ronald. Harry Potter looked at him anxiously. I have mixed feelings in my heart. This is his friend after all. Even if there is something wrong with what I say, he shouldn't have ended up like that. After hesitating for a moment, Harry Potter turned to look at Crow. Crow, I know what Ronald said is not right, but I hope you can forgive him. Don't refer this matter to the Daily Prophet. I will pay you your reward as if this never happened. Please. Harry Potter bowed solemnly. Harry. I'm sorry, it's my fault. Ronald looked at Harry moved. Then he reluctantly apologized to Crow. If it had just been published by Crow in the Daily Prophet. There is no need for people from the wizarding world to drown him with spittle. His parents would have to kill him. For Harry's sake, forget it. But remember it carefully in the future and don't say exaggerated words. I don't think Dumbledore likes people who tell lies. Crow glanced at Ronald flatly. As a friend, I will reveal some information to you. After you enter Hogwarts, that person will keep an eye on you and cause you all kinds of trouble. As for the purpose, it must be to attract your attention. If you carefully observe the person's emotions, you might be able to gain something from it. Harry Potter smiled gratefully. He quickly took out a bulging purse from his arms. Here are 300 gold galleons. I don't know if it's enough. If it's not enough, I can go to Gringotts to get it. Harry, you. Ronald's eyes widened in shock. He wanted to dissuade him but was blocked by Harry Potter. Crow glanced at Ronald boredly. He reached out and took the purse and threw it to Hermione. I accepted the money as a reward for revealing the information about that person to you. Although the money is not enough to make up for my losses, after all, that person, my life may be in danger. Crow patted Harry Potter's shoulder with a heavy expression. But as a friend, I can't watch you being ruined in vain. Go ahead and don't tell others. I revealed the news to you, otherwise. Harry Potter nodded excitedly. Don't worry, I won't say anything. Even if I am. I won't implicate you. I won't disturb you anymore. Ronald, let's go back. Ronald followed Harry Potter reluctantly. Before leaving, he glanced at Crow. A strong emotion is detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. Truly the savior Harry Potter. So kind. Dig a hole for him to jump into. Not only did he give himself gold galleons. Also give yourself a treasure chest. Can only say. Give me a dozen more friends like this. Crow took stock of the harvest with heightened interest. The freshman in the carriage previously contributed many treasure chests to him. At this time, his bronze treasure chest reached an astonishing 83. 25 silver treasure chests. 17 golden treasure chests. A diamond treasure chest. Just being a train can bring such income. Then his big plan is really implemented. How many treasure chests do we need? Crow in a good mood. He turned around and rubbed the two women's heads. The two women woke up from their stupor. Our rich man has sent us 300 gold galleons. Tell us, do you want anything to eat? I saw someone selling snacks in this car. Please wait. After Crow finished speaking, he opened the door and left. Hermione and Cassandra were left speechless. Both women's pretty faces were a little blushing. But I don't know what I'm shy about. I only knew that my heart was beating rapidly and uncontrollably. A strong feeling of shyness is detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. Detected. Chapter 40. Crow, who was buying snacks, froze. The smile on his face became deeper and deeper. Looks like my own treasure girl group. The future is promising. A total of 1 galleons. Do you really need so many? I'm afraid you can't eat these snacks yourself. The sales witch hesitated to speak. Of course I'm not alone, I have 2 companions. But could you please bring me snacks? Crow smiled slightly. Of course, you are a big customer, and it is our duty to deliver to your door. Please lead the way. The sales witch hurriedly responded. Crow isn't too pretentious either. He turned around and led the sales witch into his carriage. It wasn't that he didn't want to spend more time in the hallway. It was really the bursts of ghosts crying and wolves howling. He was extremely upset after hearing this. You're back? How's the situation outside? Have those people finished crying? We're almost at Hogwarts. Cassandra was holding black tea. Join Hermione and watch Crow leave the book behind. They just found out. The other party actually likes to read books. This made the two women who were still a little embarrassed. A common topic was instantly found. Crow didn't answer and just moved out of the way. Have the sales witch push the snack cart in. Cassandra looked at the small mountain of snacks in surprise. What, why did you buy so many snacks? Try something new? Although these things are rare, you don't want to buy so many, right? Hermione nodded in agreement. But her beautiful eyes couldn't stop looking at the pile of snacks. This was something she had never been able to eat before. So many snacks. She had only seen them in her dreams. Thank you for your hard work. You're welcome, this is what I should do. The sales witch pushed the cart out of the carriage. Don't forget to close the carriage door before leaving. If you can't finish it, you can wait until next time. Hermione, haven't you always wanted to eat snacks? I will satisfy you today. Don't worry, you are a little witch now, not a little muggle. Crow pinched Hermione's cheek lovingly, showing her somewhat large front teeth. Even if your tooth is damaged by eating, I will find a way to restore it to you. Just eat without worry. Really? Then I'll just eat it. Wait, you won't complain, right? Hermione paused as she picked up the chocolate frog. He looked at Crow suspiciously. I see Crow has tricked too many people. Naturally she couldn't help but have doubts. Crow rubbed her soft hair speechlessly. If I wanted to trick you, I would have done it a long time ago. Why wait until now? Eat it now and I will put it all away. Hermione quickly hugged the snack in front of her. Under Crow's amused gaze. Unwrapped the chocolate frog. Didn't wait for her to react. The brown chocolate frog jumped into her mouth. The mellow taste explodes instantly. She couldn't help but grab Crow's sleeve with excitement. Crow also patted her hand in a funny way to comfort her. Cassandra pursed her lips, looking at this scene with some envy. A strong sense of excitement is detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. A strong feeling of envy is detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. Crow heard the system prompts. He turned to look at Cassandra, who had her head lowered. Aren't you going to eat? I bought these snacks to celebrate you becoming friends with us and joining our excellent little team. Crow pretended to feel distressed. It cost a gold galleons, which is so valuable. If you don't eat it. It's delicious, this chocolate frog, it tastes so mellow in your mouth. And this one, I've tried it in several flavors, grape, watermelon, strawberry. Crow hasn't finished speaking yet. Hermione excitedly recommended it to Cassandra. He even picked up a strange flavored bean and handed it to Cassandra. At the same time, I shared the taste of what I ate. Crow looked at this scene amused. Shaking his head, he prepared to pick up the book and continue reading. You just said, what do you mean by a small group? I didn't agree to join any small group. Cassandra raised her head proudly. He spoke again in a very strange tone. Besides, you didn't invite me to join any group. But even if you invited me, I wouldn't agree. Cassandra felt a little regretful as soon as she finished speaking. Crow looked calm. She couldn't help but speak again slightly anxiously. Of course, for Hermione's sake, if this small team keeps inviting people, I can also consider joining. Cassandra held her head high. But his hands were holding a chocolate frog tightly. The strength even made the chocolate frog roll his eyes. If it wasn't made of magic, I'm afraid it would have burst into a puddle of chocolate slush. Chocolate frog. Do we have some small group? Why didn't I know about it? When did you form it? Hermione blinked in confusion. Cassandra heard this. He couldn't help but fold his arms in amusement. Looking at Crow in amusement. Want to see how he would answer. Of course, our small team is amazing. Chapter 41. Our small group is very sunny, its purpose is very clear, and it is very great. That is. Crow paused deliberately. The two women looked curious. He then continued to speak with a smile. The greater good. This is not only our purpose, but also our slogan. Crow waved his fist with a smile on his face. Hermione and Cassandra heard this. After hesitating for a moment, he waved his fist a few times. Crow saw this. A smirk appeared on his face. I don't know if old Jengtu heard this slogan. What level of boxes will you contribute to yourself? Diamond or King? Then what is the name of our small team? Interest group? A&D. What interests are we for? Gin Gallon. Hermione looked at Crow hesitantly. Cassandra also nodded. She was also a little confused. And don't know why. She always felt like she had heard this sentence somewhere. But she couldn't remember who said it. Benefits can be of many kinds, not necessarily money. They can also be magic spells, strength, magical animals. Crow leaned on the table and smiled. And those magic books. The kind of magic books that the outside world can't see. Isn't that banning books? Isn't this bad? Hermione and Cassandra looked at each other. All a little excited. There was some hesitation again. That's a banned book. A book that the outside world will never see. How could anyone not be curious about what is recorded there? Terrifyingly powerful black magic? A wizarding secret agent? Mysterious and unknown ancient magic? There is nothing good or bad, only whether you want it or not. There is no right or wrong in power. It all depends on whether the person who controls this power wants it to be good or evil. Crow raised his fist confidently. For the greater good, this sentence will be the purpose of our small team and the code of conduct for us. As for the group name, let's talk about it later. Crow waved his hand casually. Joke. What's the point of thinking about a name? It was originally a hole dug for Dumbledore. There is no point in trying to come up with a name. If you really want to call Treasure Girls Group, or Harem Base Camp. The two women looked at each other speechlessly. Silently picked up the snacks and ate them. Looking at Crow very annoyed. They finally saw it. What a small team this is. It was all Crow's whim. Never existed at all. A strong speechless emotion is detected. Hogwarts platform. Hagrid held a lantern and looked at the approaching Hogwarts Express. Quickly sort out your clothes. He smiled what he thought was a kind smile. Buzz, the train arrives. Countless students walked off the train with their luggage. There are seniors and freshmen. But there were no smiles on these freshmen's faces. Instead, he looked desperate. Hagrid frowned in confusion. First-year students, come here, first-year students. Gather at my place. A rough voice spread across the platform. Everyone's eyes were attracted by the faint light. Hagrid's tall figure caught everyone's attention. The freshman's breath hitched. Wow, there's a troll. Mom, I want to go home, I want to go home. I don't want to fight the troll alone, I don't want it. Help, I was wrong, I shouldn't have eaten the chocolate frog secretly. Merlin, please help me. I don't want to be a wizard anymore, I don't want to be a wizard anymore, I want to go home, I want to go home. The sounds of ghosts crying like wolves and children came one after another. Hagrid's kind smile suddenly stiffened. He took a step back with some preparation. In previous years, I only received some strange looks. Why did you scare the children into tears this year? Not just one kid. Hagrid touched his face suspiciously. Crow walked to Hagrid with the two women. Hi Hagrid, I didn't expect you to be here to welcome the new students. It's really great to see you again. Crow rubbed his hands excitedly. You know, I can't help but look forward to seeing those amazing animals. That's the Forbidden Forest at Hogwarts. A Cromantula, Centaur, Thestral, Unicorn. If you catch a few Thestrals to use as mounts. Or a unicorn. That would definitely amaze the entire Hogwarts. By then, won't the treasure chest be too soft to open? And who can resist these things? Especially Thestrals. Who wouldn't want to raise one? Oh, little Crow, little Hermione, and it's nice to see you all again. But am I scary today? Why are they crying so hard? Hagrid scratched his head in confusion. What does it mean to challenge a troll alone? Are there any trolls in Hogwarts? Why haven't I encountered one? Hermione and Cassandra looked at Crow annoyed. This is not your fault, it's Kay. They are too excited. As you know, enrolling in Hogwarts is such an exciting thing. It's normal to say something without hesitation. He didn't wait for Hermione to finish her sentence. Crow interrupted. His expression was also extremely sincere. There was no scruple at all about the freshmen crying for their fathers and mothers behind their backs. Hermione and Cassandra heard this. He rolled his eyes at Crow silently. But he didn't continue to explain. That's it. Enrolling in Hogwarts is indeed exciting. Hagrid nodded in understanding. Come on, all the first-year students, come here and gather them all here. Chapter 42. The new students reluctantly gathered around Hagrid. It's not that they are obedient. But Hagrid's voice was too loud. Give them one. It feels like you will be beaten if you don't obey. Hagrid? I said it looks familiar, but it's really you. Harry Potter looked at Hagrid in surprise. I told you that the voice was Hagrid, and you still didn't believe me. Hagrid is the keykeeper of Hogwarts, the one I told you about. Harry Potter introduced Ronald excitedly. He felt Hagrid's voice was familiar just now. But Ronald dragged him. Said it was his illusion. Hello, I'm Ronald Weasley, why are you here? Ronald spoke awkwardly. Just after the introduction, I saw the three crows standing aside. His expression suddenly became embarrassed. Crow and others saw his embarrassing state. This is worse than killing him. A strong feeling of embarrassment is detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. Crow, Hermione. What a coincidence, I'm so happy to see you. Harry Potter's face was filled with excitement. A few of my friends. They are all by their side at this time. To him. There is nothing more joyful than this. A strong sense of excitement is detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. Crow ignored the system. He just looked at the wealth-giving boy with a smile. Nice to see you here too. Harry was about to continue speaking. Share the rumors you heard on the Hogwarts Express. Remind Crow and others to be careful about the entrance examination. Okay, now that you have entered Hogwarts, you have plenty of time to chat. Let's go, we are going to Hogwarts by boat. Hagrid held up the oil lamp in his hand, leading the reluctant freshman towards the lake. Goodbye Hogwarts. I'm looking forward to that house you'll be sorted into. Crow chuckled. Take the two girls on a small wooden boat. Harry Potter and Ronald's treasure chests have been cleared today. It's just a waste of time again. And be polite to them. Is it interesting to tease the two girls? Have you decided on which academy to enter? Cassandra doesn't have to think about Slytherin. Hermione is diligent and studious, so it would be better to go to Ravenclaw. Crow leaned leisurely on the board of the boat. He looked at the two women funny. What about you? Which house do you want to go to? Gryffindor? Or Hufflepuff? He is so bad, he must be suitable to go to Slytherin. According to some people, Slytherin is a place where dark wizards gather. Hermione had just finished asking her question. Cassandra looked at Crow with amusement. No, you shouldn't be in Slytherin. I thought of a better place for you to go. There. Hermione turned her head curiously and asked. Crow also looked sideways. Azkaban. That's the most suitable place for you. It's a pity that the sorting hat can't sort you there. Cassandra shook her head with pity on her face. The look of pity didn't last long. Cassandra couldn't help laughing. Hermione had also read about Azkaban in books. Naturally, he knew that there was a prison where dark wizards were imprisoned. But... Hermione looked at Crow for a moment. The corners of his lips raised slightly. Very suitable for Azkaban indeed. Crow frowned slightly. It's not bad to be assigned to Azkaban, but don't worry, I will definitely take you there with me when the time comes. I know how boring it is to be kissed by a Dementor. We are a whole, and we must experience it together. Crow looked at the two women with a half smile. What he said made the two women, who were laughing, freeze in place. You should enjoy this kind of thing by yourself, we won't have to. Hermione rolled her eyes at Crow. Then he pulled Cassandra and started whispering. Occasionally he would turn to glance at Crow. A strong feeling of happiness is detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. A strong emotion of joy is detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. Crow raised an eyebrow. Look at the two women who are whispering. He shook his head in amusement. What a treasure girl duo. 2 more gold treasure chests. If only there were a few more treasure girls. That day a diamond treasure chest will no longer be a dream. Crow turns on the system. Look at the staggering number of treasure chests inside. Bronze treasure chest, 108. Silver treasure chest, 32. Golden treasure chest, 23. Diamond chest, 1. 3 diamond treasure chests? There are still 3 gold treasure chests before we can have 3 diamond treasure chests. Crow shook his head sadly. It's a pity that the treasure chests that these freshmen can contribute have been capped. It's hard for Dumbledore and the others to break through the defense easily. Just 3, it's better than nothing. I wonder what these 3 diamond treasure chests can give me. Crow rubbed his hands in anticipation. In 3 diamond treasure chests. 2 of them are synthesized from low-grade treasure chests. What they can produce. It is also drawn from those who contributed low-grade treasure chests. That's a lot of scope. Magical beasts, enchantments, and even galleons are possible. What comes out depends on luck. This is the bad thing about advanced treasure chests. Whatever you can make is up to chance. Chapter 43. Hogwarts Castle. Professor McGonagall is waiting for you inside. I wish you a happy enrollment. Hagrid stood on the dock. Make your look and voice as gentle as possible. But the freshmen, who had been frightened for a long time, were still trembling. Including Malfoy. They also support each other. Barely getting off the boat. Hagrid, remember our agreement. I'm really looking forward to seeing the Acromantulas. Crow waved his hand to Hagrid. Of course, they are very cute little guys, I think you will like them. Hagrid spoke to Crow with a proud face. The conversation between the two spread throughout the dock. The freshman who had been quiet started wailing again. There really is an Acromantula. I don't want it, I don't want it. Mom, I want to go home. Damn, why is this happening? Is the family really testing us? Acromantulas are super dangerous magical animals, and they still come in groups. Aren't we going to die? The sound of ghosts crying and wolves howling sounded. Crow curled his lips regretfully. This group of people cried hard. But he only contributed 4 bronze treasure chests to himself. Not even silver. It seems that he really squeezed it out. Hagrid, let's go first. We'll see you when we have time. Crow waved his hand to Hagrid, who looked confused. He led the 2 girls towards the castle in the distance. Their luggage will be transported by house elves. Just wait until they allocate colleges. The house elf will send the luggage there. At this time, Crow couldn't help but feel a little excited. Although I already knew that I was in the world of Harry Potter. But actually coming to Hogwarts. That's another mood. This feeling is difficult to describe. I really want to say it. It's just indescribable excitement and excitement. Luna, Pansy, I am coming. Look at the freshman below whose eyes are as swollen as jujubes. Professor McGonagall frowned. You will go in later for a sorting ceremony to decide which academy you will enter. She had just finished speaking. The freshman cried and howled again. Professor McGonagall frowned and waved his wand several times. The crying freshman suddenly became quiet. I don't know what's wrong with you, but this is Hogwarts, you don't have to be afraid. The sorting ceremony is about to begin, come with me. Professor McGonagall turned and pushed open the door to the auditorium. The Great Hall of Hogwarts is very bustling. 4 long tables run the length of the auditorium. Countless candles floated above the auditorium. The roof is even more like a starry sky. At this time, the professors at Hogwarts have been waiting for a long time. Look at the freshmen trembling as they walk into the auditorium. Several professors cast inquiring glances at Professor McGonagall. Professor McGonagall shook his head helplessly. She also wanted to know what happened. The senior students were holding back their laughter. He tried not to laugh out loud. Freshmen receive letters of admission every year. Only this year there are so many. Is this Hogwarts? It's exactly like what's said in the book, with a magical hall, a starry sky-like roof, and floating candles. Hermione looked around the great hall excitedly. Everything here was like she had never seen before. Although I read it in a book. But it is a book after all. It's not as shocking as what you see with your eyes. Crow patted her little hand lovingly. Don't be nervous when you are sorted into houses. It doesn't matter which house you are sorted into. We are all in Hogwarts and will not be separated. Hermione nodded obediently. Cassandra glanced at the 2 of them speechlessly. It's a small group. Have you forgotten that there is someone else? Quiet. The sorting ceremony will begin soon. Please ask the students whose names I read to come forward. Professor McGonagall held the wand with a serious expression. On the chair next to her, there is a tattered sorting hat on display. The freshmen below heard this. Their faces were as pale as earth. Trembling with fear. The senior students laughed at this scene. The professors frowned and looked confused. Professor McGonagall looked calm. First, Hermione Granger. I heard a familiar name. Professor McGonagall had a small smile on his face. He looked at Hermione walking up to him. How are you doing lately? Well, and that lucky little guy Crow. Professor McGonagall picked up the sorting hat. Motioning Hermione to sit on the chair. Fortunately, Crow and I bought a lot of books and learned a lot from them. Hermione sat down obediently. Answer Professor McGonagall's question softly. That's good. Professor McGonagall smiled and placed the dirty sorting hat on Hermione's head. Hungry for knowledge? Industrious and active? You should go to Ravenclaw, it will be a good fit for you. The sorting hat changed his voice. But you're also brave and perfect for a Gryffindor. Let me see. Gryffindor. The sorting hat's shouts echoed throughout the auditorium. What followed was fierce applause. Thank you, Professor McGonagall. Hermione took off the sorting hat and thanked Professor McGonagall. Then he quickly walked to the Gryffindor table. As soon as he sat down, he didn't forget to give Crow and Cassandra a wink, motioning for them to come to Gryffindor as well. No trolls? Didn't you say there is an entrance examination? Chapter 44. Damn it, who spread this ghost news? I just said there is no way such a thing can happen. Malfoy, it was Malfoy who said it first. He spread the word. It's all his fault. New students see this. It's not clear there that they were deceived. The so-called entrance examination. Just a rumor. Malfoy in the crowd was livid. He glared at the backs of Crow and Cassandra fiercely. Quiet. Next, Malfoy Draco. Professor McGonagall scolded sternly. Everyone who criticized Malfoy heard this. They all closed their mouths, looking at the sorting hat expectantly and nervously. After knowing there is no danger, they began to look forward to which college they would be assigned to. Malfoy walked stiffly to the chair and sat down, holding the sleeves tightly with both hands. Although very angry, but at this time, it still made him feel nervous. If it weren't for Slytherin. Slytherin. Professor McGonagall had not yet placed the sorting hat on Malfoy. The sorting hat calls out the result. Malfoy's tense nerves instantly relaxed after hearing the result. A smile appeared on his face involuntarily. He cast a disdainful glance at Queen Crow. He stood up and walked to the Slytherin table. The next, Cassandra Worley. Cassandra stepped forward calmly, looking at the dirty sorting hat with some disgust. But she still suppressed the nausea in her heart and sat on the chair. How are you doing recently? Professor McGonagall looked at Cassandra tenderly. The movement of putting the hat on her hand did not stop at all. Oh, the little girl from the Worley family is really strange. In that case, Slytherin. The sorting hat shouted again. Cassandra quickly stood up. I'm doing well, I don't worry about Professor McGonagall. I've made 2 friends. Cassandra glanced at Crow, who looked relaxed. Well, let's study how to change his brain in a few days. He will be a qualified friend. Professor McGonagall shook his head in amusement. Then you have to study hard. Changing your brain is not a simple matter. Go quickly, they are already waiting for you. Cassandra turned towards the Slytherin table. She was not surprised by the results. He is pure blood. Not going to Slytherin. Are you going to Gryffindor? Why is this? If I had known, I would have gone to Slytherin too. Hermione puffed up her face. An unhappy look on his face. The next, Harry Potter. Professor McGonagall's voice was laced with excitement. The noisy hall fell into silence for an instant. Several professors who were talking a lot on the high platform also looked sideways. Harry Potter timidly walked up to Professor McGonagall. He sat down on the chair feeling uncomfortable. This was the first time he experienced the feeling of being watched by everyone. Don't be nervous, kid, don't be nervous. Professor McGonagall whispered some words of comfort. The sorting hat was slowly brought to Harry Potter's head. Everyone in the hall held their breath, looking expectantly at Harry Potter. Well, you are very smart, intelligent, and brave. Let me think about where you should go. The sorting hat muttered something to himself. Not Slytherin. Harry Potter whispered softly. Under Ronald's influence, he still had a bad feeling for Slytherins. It's just that the disgust is not that strong. Can't afford Slytherin? Fine then. The sorting hat smiled humanely. Gryffindor. Everyone in Gryffindor heard this. Suddenly he cheered loudly and excitedly. Crow touched the corner of his mouth. Dumbledore looked at him with interest. I was brainwashed by Harry Potter. He probably won't listen to Ronald's nonsense anymore. Think Slytherins are all dark wizards. But why hasn't the result changed? Is it the so-called savior training plan? Crow's eyes flickered slightly. Dumbledore was keenly aware of the sense of prying eyes. Turning around, he saw Crow looking at him with a playful expression. Interesting little guy, did you find something? Dumbledore's lips curled up slightly. The next Crow Wells. Crow shook his head. Dispel the random thoughts in your mind. No matter what the savior training plan is. As long as it doesn't affect your ability to earn treasure chests. Wait until you become stronger. Directly reduce 10 levels with one force. Any plan that affects me will be smashed to pieces. Meet Professor McGonagall again. Crow greeted Professor McGonagall with a smile on his face. Well, you don't know, I just asked Miss Hermione about you. I saw clearly that you have been doing well recently. Professor McGonagall responded with a smile. Fortunately, I used to be homeless, but now I have a place to live, and I know what my future path will be. Crow sat down in the chair. Feng Qingyun calmly spoke. Now, I no longer have to fight for food with stray dogs on the roadside, and I don't have to be chased away by homeless people anymore. It's pretty good, isn't it? Professor McGonagall heard this. She couldn't help but ruffle his hair with pity. Sorry kid, I didn't mean to mention your sadness. A strong emotion of pity is detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. Chapter 45. It's okay, Professor, I don't think this is sad. It is precisely because of the suffering in the past that life now seems so precious. Crow's lips raised slightly. Another golden treasure chest. 3 diamond treasure chests away. There are only 2 golden treasure chests left. It seems that there is a good chance of getting 3 diamond treasure chests today. That's really great if you think so. Professor McGonagall looked gentle. He reached out and put the sorting hat on Crow's head. Finish these. She took a few steps back expectantly. Crow, if he could come to Gryffindor. That couldn't be better. Well, let me see, wait. What is this? What is this? The sorting hat exclaimed several times. There was a hint of panic in the voice. Everyone in the auditorium was attracted by the exclamations. Hermione and Cassandra clenched their fists. Looking at Crow worriedly. Malfoy and the others had sneers on their faces. Hope something happens to Crow. Directly expelled from Hogwarts. Crow looked calm. Even a little want to laugh. There is no other reason. The sorting hat just exclaimed. Several more treasure chests were brought to him. Although they are all low-level bronze treasure chests. Dumbledore, Dumbledore. Take this guy away quickly, save me. This child is, born to be the Dark Lord. The sorting hat screamed. Keep twisting your body. Want to get out of Crow's head. However, it has no arms or legs. No matter how it twists. There was no way to get away from Crow's head. Dark Lord? How could it be? Isn't the sorting hat only responsible for assigning houses? Why do you say that person is the Dark Lord? Who knows, after all, it's something left by those 4 people. Maybe it has some hidden abilities. Who is this person? He is said to be a born Dark Lord. How will the Academy deal with him? Is there any need to think about it? This guy must be killed directly, or imprisoned in Azkaban. We must not let him grow up. Everyone in the auditorium suddenly fell into discussion. Several professors also discussed with each other. Jingle Bell Dumbledore tapped his glass. Everyone, please be quiet. There are some problems with the sorting hat. Let me solve it. The buzzing hall fell silent instantly. Dumbledore walked slowly up to Crow. Sorry kid, there is something wrong with the sorting hat, which may have caused you some trouble. But don't worry, I will solve all these troubles. Dumbly. The sorting hat's eyes widened. Want to argue that there is nothing wrong with you. But he was suddenly mentioned by Professor McGonagall on the side. The mouth was sealed with a magic spell. Crow stood up nonchalantly. After all, this thing has been around for a long time. Judging from the situation, you haven't done any maintenance. It's normal for it to break. I don't blame you. But... Crow's voice changed. This thing is broken. Which academy should I go to? You can't let me choose by myself, right? Dumbledore stroked his grey beard. He turned around and looked at Professor McGonagall. You are the only new student who has not chosen a college. If you want to choose one, you can. If you don't want to, you can wait until we fix the sorting hat. Dumbledore smiled kindly. Although he knew the sorting hat didn't lie. He could also sense the vague aura of the dark wizard on Crow. But he felt no blood in Crow. It means he only knows black magic. Even talented in dark magic. But he has never killed anyone with black magic. This shows that Crow is a person worth cultivating. At least he won't be Crow again. He was trained to be a dark wizard like that person. Think of this. Dumbledore's cloudy eyes flashed. Didn't develop that person properly. Put him on the road of no return. This is his eternal knot. This time he won't make the same mistake again. Strong appraisal emotion detected. Get reward, diamond treasure box. Crow's breath hitched. Looking at the sorting hat is like looking at the god of mammon. The sorting hat was so frightened that he quickly closed his eyes. Just a few sentences. He brought so many treasure chests to himself. 28 bronze treasure chests. 17 silver treasure chests. 3 golden treasure chests. A diamond treasure chest. Plus those treasure chests from before. Just one day. He earned 4 diamond treasure chests. Hogwarts. It is indeed a holy place for collecting treasure chests. Crow couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth. I am extremely looking forward to it. This is Dumbledore's diamond chest. Don't know what to expect? Have you decided which college you want to go to? You can choose from the 4 major colleges. Dumbledore stroked his beard. Gryffindor is the representative of courage and fearlessness, Ravenclaw is the embodiment of wisdom. Hufflepuff is the place of integrity and loyalty, Slytherin is the cradle of ambition and power. Dumbledore explained the 4 major houses to Crow. His words also spread throughout the auditorium. This made students from all major colleges stand up proudly. Hermione and Cassandra looked at Crow expectantly. I hope he can choose the same college as me. Professor McGonagall also looked at Crow with encouraging eyes. If only this kid could get into a Gryffindor. She can definitely teach him to be a fearless lion. Crow's lips raised slightly. The 4 major colleges are all very good, so I choose. Chapter 46. Slytherin. Crow spoke without hesitation. If Hogwarts is the best place to farm treasure chests. No need to think about that. Definitely Slytherin. This group of pure-blooded little snakes can easily break defenses. The treasure chests contributed are also better than those given by ordinary hybrids. After all, pure-bloods learn magical knowledge from birth. After awakening the magic riot. Then he started practicing magic. On the other hand, mixed race. Only when he received the admission notice did he know he was a wizard. The training time is only less than half a month. The difference is clear at a glance. Slytherin? That's a very good choice. Where will your talent be best utilized? Dumbledore turned his head without changing his expression. Because there's a great dean there. Well, you'll get to know him later. Crow curled his lips in boredom. I thought I could bring some treasure chest to myself. As a result, Dumbledore didn't even give him a bronze treasure chest. It seems that he really has no prejudice against Slytherins. Otherwise, at least a bronze treasure chest will be given. Why is this? If I had known I would have gone to Slytherin too. Hermione held her cheeks up in frustration. He watched with helplessness as Crow walked to the Slytherin table. Originally she thought Crow would choose Gryffindor. After all, I am here. Harry Potter is here too. What he didn't expect was that he would choose Slytherin. Cassandra's college. This made Hermione feel a little frustrated. And some sense of crisis. How long has Cassandra been around? Crow could actually choose her without hesitation. What else will happen to me in the future? Hermione clenched her hands into fists. I didn't expect you to come here, I thought you were going to Gryffindor. Cassandra looked at Crow playfully. Crow's choice not only shocked Hermione. It also shocked her. But she didn't think Crow chose Slytherin for her. Clearly he had other goals. Or his target has been Slytherin from the start. Aren't you happy that I'm here? But I think there is someone who is more unhappy than you. Look at our noble Master Malfoy, his face is as angry as his red butt. Crow looked at the angry Malfoy amusedly. This is one of the main sources of his future treasure chest. Now make him angry more. The treasure chests that explode later will be of higher quality. It's definitely not that he likes others to be angry. He felt helpless again. Absolute. Jingle bell. Dumbledore tapped his glass. The auditorium suddenly became quiet. Welcome new students to Hogwarts, and welcome old students to start the new school year. Before the banquet begins, I have a few words to say. Our gatekeeper, Mr. Filch, asked me to remind you that you must not step into the Forbidden Forest or the room at the end of the corridor on the second floor. Otherwise, you will be responsible for the consequences. Dumbledore looked around seriously. One last sentence. Idiot. Cry. Residue. Screw it. Thank you everyone. Dumbledore sat down again. Wave your robe. The table in front of everyone was instantly filled with delicious food. Freshmen have already experienced the intimidation of the entrance examination. Already exhausted by this time. When I saw the delicious food, I immediately started to eat it. After the meal, the students from the 4 major colleges left under the leadership of their prefects. Only a few professors remained in the auditorium. Is the child really okay? The Sorting Hat is right. I can sense that he can do black magic. Where did a 10-year-old child learn black magic? Why don't we investigate this? Snape grimaced. Is this important? Doesn't it mean that he can get the admission letter to Hogwarts? Believe me, Professor Snape, that child will surprise you. Dumbledore smiled and stroked his beard. He is a very poor child. He may have learned black magic from a book. But that doesn't mean anything. Don't we know black magic? Does it mean that those who know black magic must be bad people? There is no blood in that child. He has never killed anyone, let alone used black magic. Professor McGonagall looked at Snape seriously. Crow is a student she accepted. Plus she knows Crow's life experience. Naturally I sympathize with him. And she also thinks Crow is a dark wizard. To be able to say something like that. How could he be a dark wizard? If only there was a dark wizard who could say something so philosophical. Then the entire wizarding world may have long been dominated by dark wizards. Time will prove everything. Snape glanced at the two of them coldly. He tossed his robe and turned to leave. He wasn't overjoyed to have Crow on board. Instead, I found it a bit troublesome. A 10-year-old kid who knows black magic. It's not simple no matter how you look at it. Snape's worries are reasonable, but I believe the child will not let us down. Dumbledore shook his head. Don't worry, Professor Dumbledore. With Snape here, there will be no problem with the child. I'm going back to see the lion cubs first. Professor McGonagall nodded politely to a few people. Turn around and walk out of the auditorium. Several other professors also stood up when they saw this. A moment of effort. Quirrell was the only one left in the auditorium who looked confused. And leisurely Dumbledore. Chapter 47. Professor Quirrell, why don't you prepare some teaching materials? Defense against the dark arts is not an easy course to teach. Dumbledore looked at Quirrell in amusement. I'll go right away, Dumbledore, please teach, Professor. Quirrell's expression changed. He quickly got up and left the auditorium. Dumbledore's smile faded. Looking at Quirrell's somewhat panicked back. His expression was a little complicated. Are you still back? Did you see what happened today? That child's talent is even better than yours, but I won't make the same mistake again. The Slytherin common room is at the bottom of Hogwarts. You can even see fish swimming in the Black Lake through the window. Not for other people to look around curiously. Crow sat leisurely on the sofa. Cassandra stood aside. Use the power of 2 people. Isolate everyone. Let's take a look. Isn't this our Mr. Crow? Why didn't he go to the silly lion? Instead, he came to us. Malfoy crossed his arms and sneered. A half-blood mudblood like you should go to Gryffindor, not the noble Slytherin. His words made everyone look at him. However, they did not stop it. Instead, he watched this scene with interest. I am delighted and gratified that you speak of the noble Slytherin. Crow chuckled. But I don't like your open-mouthed half-blood mudblood. Malfoy smiled disdainfully. What's the use of whether you like it or not? Do you like what I say? Who do you think you are? Malfoy pointed savagely at Crow. You. Only. A. Low. Cheap. Of. Mud. Bast. Seed. Mr. Draco seems to have a bad temper, but this is the Slytherin common room, not your manor. Snape pushed open the door resolutely and entered. He gave Queen Crow a cold look. He looked at Malfoy with a slightly gloomy look. The purpose of Slytherin is to achieve the end by any means necessary, not pure blood supremacy. Don't bring what Lucius taught you here. Malfoy's expression froze. I want to open my mouth to defend myself. But in Snape's gloomy gaze, he swallowed his defensive words silently. The other students also looked embarrassed. Not just what Snape meant, and what he said. Pure blood supreme. This was the banner that person used when he was still alive. Snape said so. It reminds them all the time. His parents were once that person's lackeys. They are evil Death Eaters. Especially Malfoy. His expression was so gloomy that it looked like it was dripping with water. Mr. Crow, I don't know why you chose Slytherin. But Slytherin has always respected the strong. If you don't have the strength, I suggest you change the academy. Snape looked at Crow coldly. He didn't like Crow. Harry Potter had just entered school. Crow, a peer who knows black magic, came with him. It's unusual enough for a 10-year-old to know black magic. What's more, entering Hogwarts together at this time. How can there be such a coincidence in the world? Think of this. Snape's eyes flashed coldly. No matter what, Harry Potter must not be in danger. Otherwise, he would not be able to see that person. Well, do the strong respect the weak and eat the strong? I like it. Crow looked at the little snakes with a half-smile. Snape just glanced at Crow flatly upon hearing this. Is everyone here? The new students are already here, Professor. Snape looked around. The little snakes lowered their heads when they saw him. Don't dare to look at him. We at Slytherin are different from several other colleges. You should have heard of it before enrolling, and that is the hidden prefect system. Each grade has a hidden prefect who is responsible for the students in that grade. Snape had just finished speaking. Malfoy's eyes suddenly lit up. As a member of a pure-blood family, honor and power have long been engraved in the bone marrow. Although being a hidden prefect is not arranged by the academy, it is a long-standing tradition of Slytherin. Of course, there are benefits to being a hidden prefect. The most obvious one is having an independent dormitory. Snape continued speaking in a cold voice. If there are no other questions, the selection of hidden prefects can begin. Miss Gemma Farley, you will be in charge of the rest. Don't worry, Professor. Gemma Farley responded with a smile on her face. Snape shook his robe. Turn around and stand quietly aside. The selection of hidden prefects is very simple. Junior students who want to be elected as hidden prefects can come forward. Whoever can survive to the end will be the hidden prefect. Gemma Farley took out her wand and drew a circle. A bright green halo fell on the ground. Form a simple dual field. Why don't you go and have fun? After all, a separate dormitory is very attractive, isn't it? Crow stood up playfully. I wonder what Snape's expression would be like if he saw him performing dark magic? I think it will be very exciting. It's just a pity that Nagini still has a shock and no nose. Otherwise, Nagini will be released directly. Snape will definitely contribute a treasure chest of high quality to himself. Children are playing around. If you have this time, it is better to read 2 more books. You can do it by yourself. Cassandra looked cold. In fact, she also wanted to go. After all, that is glory. There are also separate dormitories. But Crow stood up before her. Chapter 48. She couldn't just get up and join in, could she? Wouldn't that make it obvious that she was targeting Crow? Cassandra pursed her lips. He stared at Crow's back angrily. If she hadn't met Crow, he must be standing proudly in the middle of the circle now. Hey, our mixed blood mud, actually came in? Do you really want to be beaten? Malfoy was about to curse. I felt Snape's cold eyes. The words that came to my mouth could only be forced back. Being beaten? Well, that's okay. I'm glad you asked for this. As a reward, I'll give you a good beating later. Without waiting for Malfoy to retort, Crow patted him on the shoulder. A look of relief on his face. No need to thank me, I will definitely beat you to death later, don't worry. He is such a polite child, worthy of being a member of the Malfoy family. Malfoy opened his mouth, staring in shock. What did he want to say? But nothing could be said. Crow's words. If he retorts, it's like admitting that the Malfoy children don't have good manners. Malfoy clenched his fists, staring at Crow fiercely. Crow did not continue to talk to Malfoy. He just shook his head with some pity. What a great opportunity to farm treasure chests. As a result, Malfoy's number of treasure chests was limited today. Everyone can attack each other, or they can join forces to attack one person. The one who can stand in this circle in the end will be the hidden prefect. If you're ready, you're good to go. Gemma Farley had just finished speaking. The little snakes in the circle of light scattered one after another. Crow was surrounded in the blink of an eye. Wands of different shapes were also facing Crow. Cassandra frowned upon seeing this. His hand unconsciously clenched the wand. Always ready to save Crow. Snape frowned too. But he didn't stop him. After all, the rules allow alliances to attack one person. This is also in line with Slytherin's philosophy. The end justifies the means. Hey? Are you preparing for a duel? Crow took out his wand. Looking around playfully. These are all important sources for him to obtain treasure chests in the future. No matter what, I have to give them a big gift today. Single fight? Are you scared to death? A mixed blood dares to fight for the hidden prefect. Does he really take us pure blood seriously? That's right, if a mixed blood becomes a hidden prefect, then why do we think we are pure bloods? He is trampling and insulting our pure blood glory. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Let this kid know the difference between pure blood and mixed blood. Everyone around Crow was talking a lot. Each wand also shines with fluorescent light. Cassandra stood up. He held the wand tightly with a cold face. She just wanted to stop this unfair duel. I saw Crow turning the pen with his wand. Don't worry, I haven't finished speaking yet. When I say duel, I mean I'm challenging a group of you. To me, fighting alone means fighting as a group. Crow smiled brightly. But before I do it, I have a little question I want to ask. Malfoy and the others looked at each other in confusion. Take a few steps back cautiously. If you want to fight, then fight. If you don't want to fight, get out of here. A half-blood still wants to fight with us pure bloods. Do you understand how to play with your wand? You know whether you want to play with the wand or not. I won't bother you. Faced with dozens of wands pointed at him, Crow smiled nonchalantly. Do you like dancing? As a child of a pure-blood family, you should learn to dance since childhood, right? Then the question is, who of you is the best dancer? Malfoy didn't wait for anyone to answer. Practice brings true knowledge. Which of you can dance better? You can tell by watching the competition. Are you right? Professor Snape. Crow glanced at Snape playfully. Without waiting for everyone's reaction, he turned the magic wand in his hand. A pale green glow lingered on the wand. You dare! Tarantella! Snape's eyes widened. Snapped at Crow. But he just finished speaking. Crow's magic has been used. The light green fluorescence shone on the confused little snakes. Their bodies began to dance uncontrollably. All at once in the Slytherin lounge. Full of dancing snakes. This scene made the senior students watching the game widen their eyes. Then they started talking about who danced better and looked better. He didn't care at all whether Crow used black magic or not. This is Slytherin. What we advocate is to achieve the goal by any means. So what if it's black magic? Crow's purpose was achieved, wasn't it? Most of them are pure bloods. It's not like I don't know about the so-called ban on black magic. Just forbidden normal people. Look at the entire magical world. How many powerful wizards are there who don't know black magic? Even the professors at Hogwarts. Is there anyone who knows black magic? Crow put away his wand. I looked at the dancing little snakes in amazement. I can't say that I danced poorly. All I can say is that everyone jumps on their own. This one is imitating a sow climbing a tree. Another imitates a monkey stealing peaches. As expected of a pure-blooded family, his dancing skills are so good, so great. Professor Snape, what do you think? Crow admired everyone's dancing. Snape asked playfully. At this time, the entire common room was filled with the terrified shouts of the little snakes. There were also lively discussions among senior students. Fortunately, the Slytherin lounge is at the bottom. Otherwise there would be such movement. It will definitely attract a lot of people to watch. Chapter 49. Snape gave Crow a long look. Snape tossed his robes and turned away. Mr. Crow, congratulations on becoming the hidden prefect of the first year. But I don't want to see you using dark magic again. Forget it this time. Finished. A vigorous and resolute look. Just like a bat that keeps flying close to the ground. A strong feeling of irritation is detected. Get reward, diamond treasure box. Tisk, today is really a good harvest time. I wonder what old bat can find in his diamond treasure chest? Is there any occlumency I need? Crow's eyes looked expectant. Senior Gemma Farley, where is my private dormitory? Could you please give me directions? The first room on the left at the end of the corridor is the private dormitory of the hidden prefect. Thank you, senior sister. Crow thanked him politely. He turned to look at Cassandra again. I don't think you want to share a room with me, right? Of course, if you want to, that would be better. Don't worry, I won't snore or kick the quilt at night. Cassandra's expression froze. After thinking about what Crow meant, his little face suddenly turned red. What does it have to do with me whether you snore or not? When did I say I wanted to share a room with you? That's why I said you shouldn't share a room with me. Then I'll go to bed first. See you tomorrow, dear Miss Cassandra. Crow curled his lips in boredom. Without waiting for Cassandra to respond, he walked deeper into the corridor with his hands behind his back. Forgotten. Cassandra's treasure chest has also been capped. What a joke. But today's harvest is enough. Look at the treasure chest in the system space. Crow's steps became happy. He couldn't help but hum a little tune, accompanied by the dance of the little snakes. There is a strange fit. Oh, and by the way, my magic will make contact when the sun rises. You'll have plenty of time to enjoy their dance. I think you should go buy some snacks and watch them dance. After all, it's a new school year, so it makes sense to have a party, right? Before Crow entered the door, he turned around to remind everyone. After saying that, he opened the door and walked into the bedroom. The senior snakes looked at each other. It's like discovering a new continent. They all got up and ran to the Hogwarts kitchen. Only Malfoy and the others were left dancing with tears in their eyes. By this time they were exhausted. But my body kept dancing uncontrollably. Cassandra looked at it uninterested. He also got up and walked into the bedroom. The luggage had already been delivered by the house elf. They just need to rest peacefully. Except Malfoy and the others. 5 diamond treasure chests, I don't know what to start. Crow sat on the bed, rubbing his hands together excitedly. It's only the first day of school and I've gained so much. Hogwarts is indeed a paradise for treasure chests. First open a diamond treasure chest to add to the fun. The system will open it for me. Crow took a few deep breaths. He couldn't wait to speak. Be aware of these treasure chests. But there were contributions from Dumbledore and Snape. One is the most powerful white wizard. The other is proficient in black and white magic. Occlumency can't even shake the nose. If it can be opened, then he will have nothing to worry about. Congratulations to the host for opening the diamond treasure chest and receiving the reward, the ultimate potion science talent. Excellent potion science talent, you are the favorite of the potions, and the potions of immortality are all in your hands. The corners of Crow's mouth twitched a few times. That's it. The diamond treasure chest gave me this thing? What about occlumency? Crow took a few deep breaths. Suppress the speechlessness and anger in my heart. It cannot be said that the potion's talent is useless. But configuring the elixir? If so, then Snape is already invincible. Even the magic stone. It can only extend the life of the user. But it cannot delay the decline of the user's body functions. You must know that the magic stone is the most advanced product of alchemy. Even if there really is an elixir of life, that can't be configured by just relying on talent. Crow closed his eyes silently and muttered to himself. Don't be impatient, don't be angry, it's better than nothing. Just study potions, it's only a matter of time before you get them prescribed. Crow suppressed the speechlessness in his heart. Open your eyes again. Keep opening it for me. I don't believe you can't use it. Crow clenched his fists. Congratulations to the host for opening the diamond treasure chest and receiving the reward, 10,000 gold galleons. Crow's eyes widened. Jumped out of bed suddenly. You are a. Come out of the dog system, come out. I will perish with you, perish together. Crow shouted angrily. Luckily there was a soundproofing spell in the room. Otherwise, the roar will definitely be heard by people outside. But Crow can't care about that anymore. At this time, he only felt his heart throbbing. Difficulty breathing. It seems that he will die at any time. Facing Crow's wrath, the system remained silent. It was as if nothing had happened. Crow was left furious. Strong anger detected. Get reward, golden treasure chest. Chapter 50. See the extra gold treasure chest. Crow's breath hitched. Veins popping in his forehead. What the system said at this time. Nothing less than adding fuel to the fire. Or gasoline. If you can't speak, you don't have to say it. Do I care about your golden treasure chest? You. Crow took a few deep breaths. Suppressing the anger boiling in his heart. This is the second time he has issued a gold galleon. But the first time was in the bronze chest. This time it's a diamond treasure chest. Originally he was still thinking about it. No matter how bad the reward is, it's still a curse, right? I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it. There are actually gold galleons. Crow lay on the bed dejectedly. A look of despair on his face. 5 diamond treasure chests. I thought it was the beginning of the road to invincibility. Unexpectedly, it was the beginning of the end. Is gold galleons useful? It works. Money is one of the most useful things in that world. But for him, gold galleons. Not as practical as toilet paper. This thing is so hard to wipe your butt. I still have 3 diamond treasure chests. I know you didn't mean it this time, but you also have to know that it's not easy for me to earn treasure chests. Crow said to himself with an inexplicable expression. Tell me, whose host can earn you 5 diamond treasure chests in one day? If so, go find that person and bind them quickly. Don't come to harm me. The system remained silent. It's as if it doesn't exist at all. Crow didn't get angry and just continued to speak sincerely. If not, then what's the point of making me mad? If I give you another chance, if I find another gold galleons in these 3 diamond treasure chests, let's break up. After Crow finished speaking, the system still didn't respond. He was not annoyed and waved his hand straightforwardly. Open another diamond treasure chest for me. Remember, this is your opportunity, and it is also my opportunity. Crow swallowed. His hands were unconsciously playing with the magical animal ball. He didn't know if his threats were of any use. But judging from last time, it's still somewhat effective. I just hope it can be of some use this time. What else can be done? We can't really die together with the dog system, right? What about Hermione and Cassandra? Their milky white buns. Congratulations to the host for opening the diamond treasure chest and receiving the reward, Patroness Charm. Patroness Curse Level 1, the most powerful and oldest defensive spell in the wizarding world. Note, what a patron saint is depends entirely on the host's own heart, and the system will not interfere. Patroness Charm. Crow's eyes widened. The Patroness Charm doesn't just protect against Dementors. Otherwise it wouldn't be called the strongest defensive spell. Its real horror lies in its patroness. The wizard can command the patron saint to do things. The patroness can also help the wizard withstand damage. This is why the Patroness Charm is called the strongest defensive spell. After taking in the information flooding into my mind, Crow couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth. He couldn't wait to run out of bed. He took out his big, long, thick wand, preparing to cast the spell with great anticipation. The system is good at this point. Don't look at the magic level of the reward, which is only 1 level. But at level 1, you have learned it. So all the magic spells only need to be rewarded. Crow can be cast immediately. It's just that the power is limited. Crow took a deep breath. A pure little wizard like me can definitely summon a holy patron saint. Is it a unicorn or a phoenix? It doesn't matter who he is, as long as he can't be summoned. Crow's wand held high. Call the gods and call the guards. Dark green light bloomed from the wand. The whole bedroom became green and bright. Before Crow could react, a rich and bloody evil aura permeated the entire dormitory. A huge dark green basilisk appeared next to Crow. The giant basilisk coiled its body. Wrap Crow in the middle. The scarlet snake eyes as big as lanterns were filled with bloodthirsty killing intent. Crow stared blankly at the giant basilisk. He looked down at the magical animal ball hanging around his neck. Make sure this is not after Nagini ran out. He had to believe that his patron saint was actually a basilisk. I've heard that the wand will backfire when the Patroness Charm is cast. But I have never heard that the patron saint is a dark creature. Or a dark creature with immeasurable ferocity like the basilisk. I obviously did what the instructions said, thinking about good things, and then casting the spell. Why is my patron saint different from others? Kroll looked at the wand in his hand suspiciously. Look again at the giant basilisk that wraps itself up. It doesn't make sense. I haven't heard that the patroness charm can summon a basilisk. System, what's going on? Is the patroness charm you gave me a pirated one? Counterfeit goods, they're killing people. Crow made some speechless remarks. Summoning the basilisk is not a matter of spells. It can't be that he is too evil deep down. So the patron saint is also a dark creature, right? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Crow shook his head firmly. Joke. Look at the entire magical world. Is there any kinder little wizard than myself? Obviously. Quite a few. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you are notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.